Okay, good morning, everyone. Before we start, I would like to mention that there is translation service available. Feel free to use it. Do you know that there is enough DNA in the average person's body stretching from the sun to Pluto 17 times in back? Interesting fact, isn't it? Well, today you're going to hear even more interesting facts by our brilliantly engaging participants in Qatar National FameLab 2021 in its 6th edition. How exciting is this? Hello, I am Wad, a proud FameLab alumni, FameLab trainer, and your host for the next 2.5 hours. And I am super excited to see what the participants have in store for us. If you are here with us today, I suppose you know what FameLab is, but if you don't, no worries, here's a brief introduction. FameLab is an international science communication competition and training program connecting thousands of scientists and researchers across the globe. FameLab is all about finding people who are passionate about science and supporting them to share their love of knowledge with the public. In addition, FameLab aims to enable participants to inspire people to see the world from new perspectives. And this, of course, is the Qatar National Final 2021. So this year we have 20 finalists that have been narrowed down through various auditions from 300 entrants competing in 2 categories, 15 finalists in the student category and 5 finalists in the adults category. So 20 of Qatar's most charismatic scientists, engineers, mathematicians, and students fighting it out for the title of FameLab Qatar Champion 2021 for both of the categories. Finalists will have 3 minutes to share their science in an engaging and entertaining manner. But here's the thing. The use of PowerPoint presentation and other presentation softwares are not allowed. On the other hand, the use of props is allowed. You can bring props as much as you fit or as much as you can take to the stage or fit into the camera in this case. So to sum up, FameLabbers have 3 minutes to capture the audience attention, explaining a scientific topic with limited props. Keep in mind that we will have timing and you will hear a buzzer when your time is up. So before we start our competition, let me walk you through our event schedule. Once the introduction that I'm saying right now is over, we're going to start our event by listening to our stakeholder speeches from the British Council and QNRF. Then the finalists from both of the groups will present their topics, starting with the adult edition, followed by the students audition. Then the judges are going to deliberate after the final presentations. Then they will make their decisions about the winners. And while they do that, we're going to watch a video about the participants' journey during FameLab. Finally, the event will be concluded by announcing the winners of Qatar FameLab National Finals 2021. And we are going to start our event with the opening speech from the British Council Country Director, Sam Eitan. Sam, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, boys and girls, everyone. Welcome to FameLab 21. Before we start, I'd just like to say what a privilege it is to be working again in partnership with the incredible team at Qatar National Research Fund, and also to thank the Ministry of Education and Higher Education for their continued outstanding support. This is our 6th FameLab that we're collaborating on, and each year we see a huge range of talent building. I'd like to say a little bit about why we do this as the British Council. We're the UK's cultural relations organisation, and so our role is to build connections, understanding and trust between UK and countries around the world. And so the reason we do this is that we want to connect not just in science, but also around the communication of science, which we see as arguably more important than ever. And there are 3 main reasons why we focus on science communication. One is that our shared global challenges, whether that's climate or health, needs a global science community that can communicate powerfully. that can build public support across borders, influence funding, influence policy decisions, and ultimately affect change. 2, we need to support and develop our global pool of science talent. To do that, we need to be able to communicate science well in order to teach, engage, and inspire the next generation of scientists. And thirdly, in an era of fake news and increasing disinformation, we need to work together with our partners to amplify and promote the values of science and the values of open-minded inquiry over bias and opinion. So we're really delighted to see the growing success of the competition here in Qatar and the extraordinary range of talent year on year. Thank you to everyone who's taken part and worked so hard to develop their skills. The winner today will go on to compete in the global competition at the Cheltenham Science Festival. I want to personally wish all of the finalists the best of luck. You've already done incredibly well to get this far, so congratulations, and I hope everyone really enjoys the competition. Thank you. Shukran.
Thank you, Sam. Now please welcome our strategic partner representative, Dr. Aisha Al-Obaidli, Capacity Building Director at Qatar National Research Fund. Dr. Aisha, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Wa'ad. Respected guests, educators, judges, our partners, members of our research and science community, last but not least, dearest students. Assalamu alaikum and good morning to all of you. Let me begin by congratulating all our contestants who are the reason we have gathered here today. Making it so far is a testament to your skills and talent and a reassurance of all of us that we have many capable minds who can help Qatar become a leading international center for science and research. Along with our partners, we at Qatar National Research Fund are committed to identifying and hone young and bright minds such as you, all by making available opportunities that feed your scientific curiosity and give you a platform to share your skills and talent with the world. FameLab is one such platform which we brought to Qatar 6 years ago in partnership with the British Council Qatar and with the support of the Ministry of Education and Higher Education. The level of interest that our students and young adults who are passionate about science communication have showed in FameLab can be judged by number of applications we have received over the past 6 years. Over the cycles of this competition, more than 1,600 talented applicants have applied, and out of these applicants, only 100 were selected to compete against each other. After a thorough review process, this demonstrates that competitiveness of FameLab and highlights the caliber and ambition of the shortlisted contestant from whom the winner go on to represent Qatar at the international finals. This thorough selective process helps us to identify the best of the best when it comes to scientific communication talent in Qatar, and I'm proud to share the FameLab Qatar winners have twice finished off in the top 3 ranking among more than 30 participating countries. Ladies and gentlemen, developing effective and engaging science communication skills is highly important and has become even more important recently as our world continues to grapple with increasingly complex challenges and develop innovative solutions to attempt to solve them. One relevant example is the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, which in the last year has shown that how science communication plays a monumental role in ensuring public health and functioning of our societies during challenging times. As an organization that enables us of our use of science and research to make an impact both inside and outside the region, we place a special emphasis on developing the science communication skills of our local talent. Therefore, we join our partners to organize the FameLab National Competition. This unique competition helps us identify the most talented science communicators world who can inspire and educate a live audience about a complex scientific topic and further develop their skills. Every year, I'm impressed by the caliber of our participants, and I'm sure that this year too, we are joined by highly skilled and passionate contestants. In closing, I want to especially thank our partners, the British Council, for sharing our vision of nurturing local talent, and the Minister of Education and Higher Education in our endeavor. I wish all participants best of luck and express my gratitude to all of you on joining us in our efforts towards enabling scientific and research excellence in Qatar. Hopefully that you will enjoy the rest of the day, the contestants and the contestants. Thank you very much. Thanks all.
Thank you, Dr. Aisha. Now, I know that some of you are asking how the judges are going to choose the winners. Well, good question. Judges will score each participant according to the 3 C's. The first C is content. Your idea has to be scientifically accurate. The second C is clarity. The topic should be understandable and clear. And the third C is charisma. Do the participants make you want to watch and listen to them? Speaking about the judges, please join me to welcome our 3 judges whom I am quite sure that the participant won't make their job easy today. With us, Dr. Fuad Murad, Executive Director at the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia. Dr. Fuad, if I may ask you, do you have any recommendation for our participants today?
I want to thank you all, and I'm really looking forward to learning some new content today in a simple way, especially in areas that are far from my specialization. And I know I have colleagues with me, judges who complement my area. So learning from somebody else is my goal today, especially from our young talent that will be participating. Good luck to all. Looking forward to your pitches.
Thank you, Dr. Fuad. Now we're going to move to our next judge, Dr. Mohammed Omara, Associate Professor at the College of Medicine at Qatar University. Hello, Dr. Mohammed Omara. What are you expecting today from our participants? Can you turn on the mic, please, Dr. Mohammed?
Sorry,
yes.
It's my bad. Assalamu alaikum jami'an. It's my pleasure to be with you today. I'm expecting to have fun and expecting that also participants to have fun. I'm telling them, enjoy your moment, enjoy this very nice competition because you made it to the finals, and this means a lot, okay? And please have fun. This is what I'm gonna say. And let's also you share this fun because science is fun anyways. And that's what I'm expecting today. Looking forward to these very, very nice moments today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. Now we're going to move to our last judge, Dr. Sarah Abdullah, Research Fellow at HBKU, Qatar Biomedical Research Institute. Welcome, Dr. Sarah. What is your vision, or what are you looking for at or what are your criteria that you're giving to the winner?
First of all, I just want to say congratulations once again. It's very, very inspiring to see young people have a passion for science, to communicate science, to not let go of what's innate when it comes to being a researcher. They always say the child is the best researcher, and never let go of that. So please continue to have that inborn child within you. I think today what I expect from the winner would be someone that's passionate, they show a true interest in science, they can communicate that passion really effectively and really clearly, and I'm sure many of you will impress us by doing so today, and I really look forward to hearing what you have to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, judges. Now I'm going to share with you a tiny piece of housekeeping. Usually there are a lot of things to mention, like fire exits, phone on silence, but this time we only have one thing, which is our 3 minutes. Once you and the participants hear the buzzer, this means the time is out and your 3 minutes are done, and it is the judges' turn to ask questions. Also, to all the participants, please keep your camera on until you respond to your judges. last and not least, I want to tell our finalists today that you have already proven yourself, and all of you are winners. Your passion and dedication make all of us wish you the best of luck, not only today, but also with your future and career. Now, the time that we all have been waiting for patiently has come. Please welcome our first participant from the adults category, Marwa Ali. Welcome, Marwa. How do you feel? Are you ready?
Yes. السلام عليكم. صباح الخير. مروة أحمد عبد الله علي، مدرسة دخان.
Welcome, Marwa. Yes. How do you feel today, Marwa? Are you excited?
Yeah, الحمد لله.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, Marwa, your time will begin right now. Go ahead.
السلام عليكم. تخيلوا معي شخص مريض يذهب إلى الطبيب حتى يعطيه علاج، وبالفعل يتناول العلاج ولكن من دون جدوى. يعود إلى الطبيب مرة أخرى حتى يتعرف على السبب. يخبره الطبيب هنا أنه مصاب بنوع من البكتيريا مقاومة للمضادات الحيوية، أي أن أقوى المضادات الحيوية لا يجدي معها نفع. هذا ما سيحدث في عام 2050 حسب دراسة أجرتها الحكومة البريطانية، أنه سيموت أكثر من 10 ملايين شخص سنويا، والسبب البكتيريا المضادة. ولكن لا داعي للقلق، أصدقاؤنا من الفيروسات هنا. نعم، أصدقاؤنا من الفيروسات. أنا لا ألومكم، نحن لم نعرف عن الفيروسات هو ما نعيشه هذه الفترة، الخوف، الرعب، ولكن هذه حال الدنيا. هنالك شر وهنالك خير، هنالك داء وهنالك دواء. وحتى نتعرف على سر صداقتنا مع الفيروسات، دعونا نعود إلى الوراء قليلا إلى عام 1917، حيث أجرى عالم دراسة للتعرف على مرض الانتحار العصبي، وهو التهاب بكتيري يسبب الإسهال الحاد. وبالفعل أجرى زراعة من العينات، وتم التوصل إلى أن هنالك كائن قريب يلتهم البكتيريا التي يقوم بزراعتها. أجرى التجارب أكثر من مرة حتى توصل إلى الكائن الذي نتحدث عنه اليوم، الفيروس آكل البكتيريا. نعم، الفيروس آكل البكتيريا من اسمه هو يأكل البكتيريا، ولكن ليس بهذه الطريقة. دعونا نتعرف على هذا الكائن الخارق الذي أعتبره في نظري كائن خارق بجسمه البسيط الذي يتكون من رأس وقاعدة وخيوط ذيلية. بواسطة هذه الخيوط الذيلية يتعرف على الخلية البكتيرية ويحقن مادته الوراثية داخله، فتتحول الخلية البكتيرية لمصنع لإنتاج المزيد من الفيروس. في اللحظة المناسبة تنفجر الخلية البكتيرية وتتحرر الفيروسات حتى تغزو. هذه التقنية تسمى العلاج بالفيروسات، تم استخدامها في العديد من دول شرق أوروبا، وبالتحديد أتحدث هنا عن فيليبس جورجيا، حيث أن 20% من التهابات البكتيريا يتم علاجها بهذه التقنية. العلاج بالفيروسات ليس بالأمر الجديد في عالم الطب، بل هو الآن يستخدم بالفعل، ونحن هنا نسلط الضوء على هذا الكائن الذي يمكن أن يعد سلاح فتاك لمواجهة عدونا الأول البكتيريا. وختاما دعوني أطرح عليكم سؤال: هل يمكن أن تتعالجوا بفيروس؟ شكرا.
Thank you, Marwa. Judges, do you have any questions for Marwa?
I'm really glad Dr. Mohammed is with us لأنه حابب أسمع رأيه بالساينتفك كونتنت. أنا فهمت بعيد عن الموضوع، أنا بقول لك يا مروة أنا بعيد عن الموضوع كتير وفهمت، وخليتيني هيك يعني استقطبتي اهتمامي لآخر ثانية. بس بدي أتأكد إنه هالتبسيط اللي أنا انبسطت فيه هو ضل علميا ساوند. دكتور محمد بده يعطينا الكلمة الأخيرة.
هو في sound طبعا, and as Marwa said إن هو it's been a while that anti-VH therapy is there. بس أنا عايز أسأل مروة سؤال مهم جدا هنا. أنت بتسألينا أنا آخذ فيروس عشان أتعالج ببكتيريا عشان أمنع الantibiotic resistance, and there is many, by the way, papers which is going around and surveys about that, reviews. What are the challenges that we might face ايه هي الاوبستكلز او التشالنجز اللي احنا كعلماء هنلاقيها عشان نقدر ان احنا نستخدم الفاش ثيرابي اوكي لعلاج الانتيبيوتيك ريزيستنس؟
شكرا للسؤال، شكرا دكتور فهد على الكلام. بالنسبه للتحديات اللي بتواجه العلماء في العلاج بالفيروسات، اللي هي استخلاص هذه الفيروسات في تجميعها، في ان هنالك اطياف واسعه من هذه الفيروسات. كذلك تكون هنالك التحدي في ان يتم الفيروس يتم اعطائه للمريض ويمكن ان يؤدي هناك التحسس من البروتين. نعلم ان الفيروس عباره عن بروتينات، هنالك ردة فعل من الجهاز المناعي يمكن ان تكون تحسس لهذا الفيروس.
طيب في نقطة تانية برضو عايزك تفكري فيها، كمية الفيروسات اللي انت عايزة تحطيها او ان انت تبوت ان تو تريت الانتيبيوتكس دي ريزيستنس، او ان انت تقدري ان انت تقدري ان انت تو كومبات بيها البكتيريا دي، الاماونت دي مش لازم تحطيها في اعتبارك. How much viruses can be able to kill this bacteria؟ صح؟ How much viruses are needed to be there؟ طيب هل ان احنا هنقدر ان احنا as a quantity في اللابس نقدر نطلع كميه الفيروسات دي عشان نقدر ان احنا نواجه بيها البكتيريا؟
نعم، بالنسبه للفيروسات هي متواجده في مياه البحر، في مياه الصرف الصحي، متواجده في كثير من الانواع الطرق. فبالتالي استخلاص هذه الفيروسات ليس بالامر البسيط كما ذكرت، ولكن يتم استخلاصها لما فيه من نواحي ايجابيه. طبعا نتحدث هنا عن المضاد الحيوي مقارنه بالفيروس. وبالفعل البحوث والاجراءات ما زالت مستمره في معهد في جورجيا، يتم استخلاص هذه الفيروسات ويتم تصنيع منها ادويه، ولكن بالفعل هنالك عقبه في الاولى انه استخلاص الكميه التي يجب اعطائها، البروتين، كذلك تخوف الناس من العلاج بالفيروس. هذه هي التحديات التي تواجه العلاج بالفيروس.
طيب انا اخر سؤال بس، ممكن تشرحي لي اكتر ازاي ان احنا هنتفادى مشكله الانتيبيوتيك ريزيستنس اللي بتطلع من البكتيريا؟ لان انا عايز اعرف منك ازاي الانتيبيوتيك ريزيستنس هيتكون. كويس؟ يعني النهارده بكتيريا موجوده ليه بتعمل انتيبيوتيك ريزيستنس، وازاي الفاج هيقدر ان هو تو اوفركم ذيس بروبلم بيسايد ان هو بس يعني هو بس ان هو يموت البكتيريا or there any other way that is going to be do؟ يعني في طريقه ثانيه.
اوكي، بالنسبه للبكتيريا ومقاومتها للمضادات الحيويه، السبب هو الاساسي الانسان، استخدام سيء للمضاد الحيوي، عدم التزام باستخدام المضاد الحيوي بفترات معينه، اعطاء المضادات الحيويه كذلك للماشيه بهدف عدم الاصابه بالمرض، وبالتالي تنتقل لدينا سلالات مقاومه للمضادات الحيويه.
ايوه بس مروه في نقطه بس مهمه جدا بس قبل ما اقطعك، اما اسف لقطعك، يعني البكتيريا هنا ما بتعملش اي شيء تقدر ان هي تواجه بيها المضادات الحيويه دي حتى لو حصل استمرار. في كلمه واحده عايزك تقوليها مهمه جدا، هل البكتيريا بيحصل فيها اي نوع من التعديل؟ في كلمه واحده مهمه جدا هنا عشان تقدر تواجه بيها هذه المضادات الحيويه مع التايم. انا عارف ان ده مظبوط وصحيح، ولكن في نقطه مهمه جدا احنا بتعملها البكتيريا وهي ايه؟
التعديل في المعدل الوراثي. كل مره هنالك
التحور الجيني اللي داخل جوه البكتيريا ده اللي بيعمل المساله دي، ودي مهمه جدا لازم تبقى عارفاها، لان هو ده اللي بيؤدي لهذه الانتيبيوتيك ريزيستنس، وده بيبين قد ايه ان البكتيريا سبحان الله ان هي قادره ان هي تكون سمارت، يعني زي ما بيقول سمارت بكتيريا. خلاص، وباي ذا واي احنا بنسميهم عندنا في العلم الميكروبيولوجي بيسموهم سوبر باج ده يعني ايه؟ يعني بالظبط دول اللي هم بيقدروا ان هم يعملوا انتيبيوتيك ريزيستنس بصوره كبيره، ودي مجموعه كبيره جدا من البكتيريات. تمام، اتفضلي كملي.
فالبكتيريا بتعديلها الوراثي وتطورها كل جيل عن جيل، فالبكتيريا بتعديلها الوراثي وتطورها من جيل لجيل تقاوم المضادات الحيويه التي يصنعها الانسان، بالتالي اصبحت البكتيريا تتطور اكثر. ولكن الجميل كذلك ان الفيروسات كذلك تتطور، فالفيروس اكل البكتيريا يتطور والبكتيريا تتطور، وفي الختام يقوم الفيروس اكل البكتيريا بمهاجمه هذه الانواع من البكتيريا.
اوكي، بدنا نقول كفى. يعني انا دكتور
طيب.
محمد
معلش انا اسف ان انا الوبريتد في التايم، بس دكتور فؤاد انا كنت حابب بس ان انا
انا بدي اقول لك if that's how you define fun، لانه انا كان يعني اقول لكم we're gonna have fun, so I hope you had fun with دكتور محمد.
اكيد
fun. I wonder when he is serious what he does. يعني يا دكتور سارة، إذا هيك في آخر تعليق سريع قبل ما ننتقل للمشارك الثاني. دكتور سارة، you were looking للشغف، للباشن. شفتي شغف وباشن عند مروة؟
Definitely. You had a lot of movement going on. Besides the grueling questions that Dr. Mohammed asked you, the passion was definitely there.
Okay, شكرا. Good luck يا مروة.
شكرا.
Good luck, Amaro. Thank you so much.
What?
As we can see, guys, the judges are fierce, but I bet that they asked because they are very curious, and you made them curious with your interesting topics. So thank you, Marwa. Thank you, judges. Now we move to our second contestant. Please welcome Adeline Larina Rose. Welcome, Adeline. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Are you excited about the future? A future where we are surrounded by smart technologies. A future where we have robots who are as intelligent as humans, called artificial intelligence or AI? Why wait for the future when the future is now? In 2017, IBM Watson, an AI in a simulation, was tasked to find an effective cure for cancer. Now this AI, for what it learned, it suggested a drug that was so deadly to the patient. It even recommended unsafe and dangerous treatment to it. What went wrong? Of course, this particular IBM Watson AI did not have enough data for it to learn more about cancer. So does that mean we give all of our personal information from the patient to the AI in the fear that if it falls in dangerous hands, you and I will be in great danger? But not to worry, we have a solution, and that's federated learning. Let me explain to you how. Let's say we have a centralized AI that is hungry for information to cure a cancer, to find effective cure. Then we have smaller AIs or localized AIs that are there in hospitals and in research centers. And they work on these local devices, edge devices. These AIs will look through all the medical documents, searching for the symptoms, knowing more about the cancer, learning them. And then it will share only about the cancer, not the personal data. All the personal data and medical records are there at the hospitals and research centers, but this shared information about the cancer goes to the centralized AI. Now this centralized AI will look the information got from hospitals and researchers, and together it will find an effective cure for cancer. Isn't this a win-win situation? I mean, after all, our privacy is protected and respected. And on the other side, doctors and researchers can finally have the data they want to cure the disease. Thus, federated learning is just not limited to this. It can be used in many areas as well, such as personal AI assistants, or maybe in automated driving cars. So as we advance towards future, we can use federated learning to protect our privacy and advance as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adeline, you actually finished before the time by 20 seconds. Thank you, Adeline. Judges, do you have any questions? I did it in the style of Robert. At least it was an attempt.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions because I'm gonna take the role of Dr. Mohammed and have fun this time with Rose, because I'm very interested in the topic of AI, and the way you presented it. Thank you. You simplified it and you made it friendly so people don't run away and think this is something very complex. You made it cute. Small AI, big AI, large AI. I thought they're little toys now. So can you tell me to stay in the content relevant and correct? When you say small or large AI, what do you mean by small and large? What differentiated? And you mentioned AI versus automated cars or something. Can you, in clear and simple terms, inform us and help all the audience, people who are not experts, know the difference between AI and automated stuff, or between AI and automation? Please go ahead.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. And first of all, I wanted to say that we use AI to do repetitive jobs. Now, as humans, we have the intelligence to do repetitive jobs, but then we feel tired after a while, right? We keep doing and we might make some mistakes, but we use AI to do those repetitive jobs, which will be more accurate. Now, in case of my example, when I said centralized AI, I meant a very large or AI that is there that holds all of the information. It's like a core. And the smaller AIs, what I meant is just the AIs that are there in hospitals, researchers, or maybe even a patient's medical device. Those AIs are there in something called edge devices. That means they will keep on learning from those patient records. They'll be non-stop learning. They'll non-stop learn, and then they'll keep feeding the data to the centralized AI. Now, and as soon as the AI gets a lot of data, it's like human. The more we learn, the more better job we do. So that's how it does. It doesn't just do the same thing again and again. Automation is more like you do the same thing again and again and again, but there's no intelligence. I mean, I can still, if it's passing the paper, I can still keep passing the paper. But if it's an artificial intelligence, it'll pass the paper and say, you don't need a paper. This guy needs a paper, and he will give. So it's the level of intelligence that's there. And for automated driving cars, we have artificial intelligence. And for now, we can see that it can sense the road. And if there's a car in front, it'll say stop. Okay, I will stop at this point. But if it doesn't have human intelligence, then the human has to intervene, put the brake and stop. So that's the difference with AI, and that's the difference between automation. I hope that's clear.
Okay, nice attempt. I have echo. I wish somebody who is not speaking to mute, please. Yeah, Rose, learning. You mentioned learning a lot, but you failed to just, in very simple terms, say the difference between automation and AI is learning. That's the only difference. So AI is an automated system, but that improves its performance with more learning and more repetition. So the difference between automation and AI is the word learning. So it improves with time. That's put simply, because the examples you mentioned about, having intelligence about the car and stuff, all these examples can be done with automation. But learning is the difference. That's the key word I wanted to hear. But thank you very much for the pitch and the examples. They're inspiring indeed. I want to, if there are any other opinions or questions from my colleagues on the jury. Dr. Sarah.
Thank you so much for a very relevant and interesting topic. So based from my understanding, you tend to more preference for AI. Ask someone to.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? I couldn't hear properly.
Definitely. Can you have whoever has their mic on to me, please? Okay, is it clear now?
Yeah.
Okay, great, wonderful. Based on your presentation and the information that you share, I get the notion that you tend to lean more in preference for AI in comparison to dealing with a doctor. Is that correct? So are you saying that there is no need? So it's basically a twofold question, but are you saying that we should replace the current positions that we have in hospital and purely have a medical, facility run by AI?
I understand your concern, and as much as we feel that yes, we can have artificial intelligence try to replace doctors, unfortunately, artificial intelligence always need to have human supervision. We cannot leave it on its own. So an AI can only be a doctor's assistant, but cannot replace doctors. So in future, no matter how intelligent an AI is, they cannot replace doctors. They can only assist doctors to cure diseases.
And why is that? What is that can't allow it to be a fully functional, reliable system?
Okay. So the first thing for AI and the difference between humans and AI is that we humans have something called emotional intelligence as well, but which is something that the AI lacks. Now, sometimes AI also can make error as well. So there's always a constant supervision is needed. Now, when we saw IBM Watson, since it did not have enough data, it gave a dangerous drug technique, right? So if we just let the AI do on its own, who knows, it might accidentally kill many patients. But as doctors need to be there so that they have to monitor and see, is the AI doing the job correctly, and it'll make it more efficient. That's it. Because since they don't have even emotional intelligence, some treatment methods might not be suitable for patients. So the doctors have to be there to console the patients or even motivate them to take the treatment.
Correct. We also need to take into consideration that diseases and biology and nature is dynamic, ever-changing, non-linear, and as what you would see with AI. So, all right, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Dr. Mohammed Omara, do you have any comments for our participants?
I'm good. I think I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Adeline. Thank you, judges. Now we will move to our third participant in the adults categories, Mohammed Omar Jamil. Mohammed, the stage is yours. Your time starts now.
Okay. CO2 emissions, carbon footprint, environmental sustainability, and all these words, why are they even there? And why do we even talk about it? Well, to understand this, we need to go to the source of carbon emissions. Let me take a very simple and interesting example. Let's make a dish. Let's make a pasta. So to make a pasta, what do we need? We need a pasta and we need fire. So why need we fire is to provide the heat to the pasta to make it. Now imagine making pastas on a big scale, on an industrial scale. We would need a lot of heat, right? And that heat is required by giving the fossil fuels to the heat, right? And that emits a lot of carbon dioxide. And this is what causes the global warming, and we come to the point of asking for sustainability. But now you'll ask me, if that's the case, then do we not have processes that do not emit CO2? It's 21st century. Well, yes, we have it, but they're not commercially viable on the industrial scale. In my research work, I worked on 2 such processes that avoid producing CO2. And they produce valuable products like plastics and fibers. One process is called oxidative coupling of methane, let's call it O, and the other is called methane dehydroaromatization, let's call it M. Now, O and M produce valuable products like big pastas, you know, plastics and fibers, but O releases a lot of heat like fire, and M needs a lot of heat like pasta. So what if I make pasta? That means I join O and M, and the heat energies will be synergized. And once that happens, I don't have to give the extra heat, which will release a lot of CO2. And I know it sounds a bit theoretical, but I actually did it. And I was able to save 9 megawatts of energy, which is equivalent to the electrical consumption of 10,000 households in 1 year. And what happened to the CO2? I was able to save CO2, which 15,000 cars would emit in 1 year. Now, this was just one example out of the many examples that we have on nearby us happening in the industries, which are not even optimized and have so many potential to make sustainable changes. But it does not require more. I truly believe in science, and it has a big impact, but I also believe that small understandings, like making a pasta and understanding how is it made, can really make big impacts on our industrial scale. And this is how we can have a sustainable future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. أنت حمستني كثير تفهم عربي محمد?
Yeah, I can understand, but I cannot speak.
Okay, let's keep it in English then. So, you know, this is very trendy now, and climate change summits, COP, a lot of activities going on. Can you, I mean, I understood the pasta example, very creative, but people now are all pushing and investing and thinking it's very modern and sexy even to have an electric car. Do you think, and can you simplify for the average citizen, non-expert, what is the footprint of an electric car vis-a-vis the discussion of zero emission and neutrality and all the ideal, you know, behavior towards nature? Can you put it in simple terms and be scientifically correct, scientifically objective? Please, go ahead.
I'll use two terms here. One is the anthropogenic activities, which means any activity that humans do and it's not natural. And another is entropy, which is the law of thermodynamics. Now, these two things tell us that anything which causes a disturbance will make things not be normal. So we cannot expect to do something and not have any impact on our world. Yes, but what we can do is we can use our resources very responsibly such that the impact is not as big as what we are having now. And sooner or later, like we are moving to electric cars, we are moving to solar energy. Now, making electric cars, of course, has a CO2 impact because it's based on batteries. Now, when you're making a battery, then you're mining, and these activities do produce CO2. So you're not really going into net zero, or making a solar panel does not let you go off the CO2s, but it reduces it. And sooner, if we have more renewable technologies like these, we will be able to get to our goal soon.
Okay, I know the environment worries everybody, not only engineers. I breathe engineering, but I have medical doctors with me that they care a lot about, what's going to happen in the environment and probably in their hospitals. Dr. Sarah had her hand up, but again, I'll give the floor later for Dr. Muhammad. Please go ahead, Dr. Sarah.
Dr. Muhammad, if you would like to go before me, we would love to hear your grueling questions. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for, again, a very relevant topic. So from our side, we're interested to see how the environment influences the progression or even a trigger of disease development, etc. So you're saying that ultimately we can't completely eliminate, there's no net zero of CO2. So what is the threshold one should aim for where we have a certain output of CO2, but it's not as detrimental to, say, health or the environment in general?
I think that's a very good question because generally what public understands is that if you're emitting CO2, then that means everything is disastrous. But as a matter of fact, as I said, we are moving to technologies. Imagine if you're releasing CO2 and there's something called something like trees and something like plants that can produce fruits. So similarly, we can produce products. I might be able to produce the plastics out of CO2, and then the CO2 that we have out there will not be there. And this is the kind of technologies that are existing now, but they're not commercial because they need more investments. So the idea is that, yes, we can go to that point until not very soon, but yes, we can go to the idea of utilization of the emissions.
Dr. Muhammad?
Did I answer your question? I'm sorry.
More or less. Thank you.
Very short question, Mohammed. Thank you so much for your presentation, for the example of the pasta that I shared, Dr. Fuad, that I really digested very well, by the way, and it was a heavy meal. Can you give me another examples? You keep saying there are many other examples, that there are many other implications that we can have. Can you give me another one that you said or you think that it can be implied here, or we can have it in this kind of technologies?
Okay, let me give an example which is very popular and we're using it, and it's on the industrial scale, like solar energy. Now, what is a solar energy? It's like taking energy from the sun, which is already there. So the idea was we never thought of that this light can give us energy, but it could. So we are using the heat or the energy of the light of the sun and trying to change it into another form which is usable by us. So this is just one other example. Any other example could be that we have industrial.
One minute, quickly. That's a great example. But do you think that this can be applied around the world, globally?
Okay, now that's a very good question. And this is why I say there is not one solution for all. We need to have multiple technologies. Now, to understand this, the Earth is a sphere and it's not really equal. So we have different regions with different potentials and not weaknesses. So maybe for a region like Qatar, we have a potential for solar energy, but maybe for some parts of Europe, you would not want to have solar energy, rather wind energy. So what I say is that there is a lot of potential, and feasibility studies like these need to be taken account of, including engineers and doctors, to be able to come up to solutions that are specific for specific demographics.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks, Dr. Swad. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohammed. Now we're going to move to our fourth participant in the adults category. Let's all welcome Shiba Ghani-san. Welcome, Shiba. How are you feeling, Shiba? Can you open your mic, Shiba, please, so we can hear you? Thank you, Shiba. Your time begins now.
Good morning, everyone. A couple of months back, I came across a crowdfunding for a 1-year-old baby with spinal muscular atrophy. It is a genetic condition that cripples the child's movement and affects the muscles involved in breathing and respiration. I was totally emotionally connected to the parents of their emotional trauma. Like this, there are so many genetic diseases out there around the world and affects the various types of people at various stages of their life. 71% of deaths occur all over the world is due to non-communicable diseases. The data from WHO says that 45% of the drug, the medicine existing for cardiovascular, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are not effective, and the medicines for cancer that is currently existing is 73% ineffective. Why is it so imprecise? Because one size doesn't fit for all. So what can be done? Precision medicine. Precision medicine is a strategy to predict, prevent, and treat the patient based on their gene, environment, and lifestyle. This requires a lot of, the significant amount of computing power with algorithms, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. What will it do? It integrates all the data from genomics, proteomics, multiomics, and other environmental factors, something from your wearable devices, something from your phone. All the data will be integrated through this software-based method. And let me tell you precisely about how does it work. Do you know how interesting your biological system is? This is the genetic footprint of this house. This is the genetic footprint of this house. And imagine this house has different rooms, okay? Your kitchen is your proteome that produces proteins, and metabolome is a small but tiny factors, the molecules present in your system, in your house, but it can change over a period of time. something just like your furniture. Okay, and microbiome, you can't see them through your naked eye. It is so tiny that you can't see them through your eyes. So we have to integrate data from all the things through artificial intelligence and machine learning, and it will appear you something like this, just like your Google map. Is this amazing to you? Is this house amazing to you? That talks about you. That's really about you. And data from Qatar.
Thank you, Shiva. Your time is out. Thank you very much. The judges, do you have any questions for Shiva?
Shiva, I love the passion. From my side, I'm not specialist. Simplification is appreciated, but we have specialists with us, fortunately, and I'm looking forward to hear the discussion. Dr. Mohammed, I'll start with you.
Khalas, okay. Shiva, thank you so much, for this enthusiastic presentation about personalized medicine, which I think it's a very important topic for the future of medicine. But you have mentioned many aspects. You talks about metabolomics, proteomics, genomics, and microbiome, everything. So what are the challenges? Then this seems to me, we are talking about a big thing here to talk about for one person. Personalized medicine coming from one person. So please let me know the challenges that we're going to face in our world here to apply this.
For example, the stratification is the problem, comes first. You need to know how to stratify your people to bring it to the personalized and individualized medicine. For example, in Qatar, they have categorized people into Q1, Q2, Q3. That is Bedouin, Arab, and Persian, South Asian groups, and Africans. So they have found that this is the group, right? And then they know what are the genetic factors associated with that. They have identified 45, clinically relevant traits in these groups and 17 novel Qatari genomes through this study. And similarly, there is a study that is actually, I was part of the study in India in my institute. They actually have a concept called Ayurvedic way of treating the people that involves Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Prakriti, something like, type ABC, like type ABC. And they already know that this is how you need to classify the people. But is there a scientific reason behind that? So what did they do? They have done a genome analysis, and the SNPs, the short, nuclear polynucleotides were assessed, and they found that 52 SNPs were significantly different across the groups. So they knew that this is how the stratification needs to be done. Not only that, they have also found, the particular genes responsible for their drug metabolism, because the people differs based on the various factors. And when we give a medicine, we need to know whether it's going to be fit for the suitable person. So what did they do? There is a gene called CYP213 gene, and it is different in 3 groups, especially in type B and C. And also they have found there is another gene called ELGL1C, that is, oxygen sensor gene. Like that, they have found why this group has to be stratified, individualized in order to, to give a particular kind of medicine. Not only that, they have understood about the microbiome classifications like bacterioids. There are many classifications. Why particular, especially I wanted to mention one thing. This study they have done with different ethnicities and communities, but still they fall under 3 particular categorization. That is so amazing, because the ethnicities and communities will be will cause many confounding factors, isn't it? So, but they found that the microbiome species like Prevotella, Bifidobacterium, and all that is particularly differing between the groups. And in the metabolomics and
thank you for the elaborated answer. It's very elaborated. Still, I think there are many things that we're going to cover here. But I will allow, if Dr. Fouad doesn't mind that I'm done with my question. If Dr. Sarah wants to go ahead.
So my question is thank you, Dr. Mohammed. My question is very similar to what Dr. Mohammed touched upon, where you basically introduced a very complex system, precision medicine, which is a hot topic at the moment. You are moving one topic to the other. You're juggling so many aspects of it. So I have 2 questions for you. Out of the various topic areas that you brought up, AI, microbiome, genetics, etc., which of these would you say is the most impactful area when it comes to precision medicine? And can you give us maybe 1 or 2 examples of conditions or diseases that you feel precision medicine should be the way to approach a treatment strategy?
In your answer, be brief, and remember, I'm an engineer, so I want to understand what you're talking about.
All right.
And I'm going to give you a grade too.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Brief, simple.
Okay. I would say non-communicable diseases, because non-communicable diseases have the origin of genetics, lifestyle, and the environment, like your cardiovascular disease, your diabetes, and something like your cystic fibrosis because of your genetics. So that is what you need to combine all these 3: genetics, your environment, and your lifestyle. And diseases are based on all these factors.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to the next one. What?
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Shiva. Now let's welcome our last participant in the adults category, Fatima Omar. Welcome, Fatima. Is Fatima available? Please turn on your camera, Fatima.
I still see Mohammed camera. I don't know why.
Can you turn off your camera, Mohammed, please? Thank you. Yes, Fatima. Welcome, Fatima. The stage is yours.
Thank you.
Your time begins now.
If you want to find aliens, don't look on Mars. Instead, look on Enceladus. Many scientists think that the best chance of finding life somewhere other than Earth in our solar system is this planet's moon. Enceladus is a tiny moon orbiting Saturn, and its surface is made up of frozen water. And below this is a liquid ocean. It's covered in ice, and scientists think that shell of ice is 10 to 15 miles thick, and the ice is floating on an ocean 40 to 100 miles deep. For context, the deepest part of Earth's ocean, the Mariana Trench, is only 7 miles deep. So compared to Enceladus, that is quite deep. So Enceladus has liquid water, so which is a sign of life. So that means liquid water, check. Have you ever thought, ugh, math, when are we ever gonna use it? So what's exciting about Enceladus is that this moon shoots out huge plumes of water into space. When NASA flew the Cassini probe through one of these plumes, it sniffed the plume and detected methane, a lot of methane. Methane on Earth can come from geological or biological sources. So at this moment, diving under the surface of Enceladus isn't really an option, but you know what is an option? Math. Researchers found that there is a chance of life being on this world, and their calculations showed that even at the highest output, non-living sources could not amount for the sheer amount of methane they were seeing. So they ran equations, and they found that this means that these amount of methane could be caused by possibly some type of life form. So all the pieces are now falling into place. Liquid water, check. Unique chemistry, check. But what about an energy source? Enceladus actually has loads of craters or holes on its surface, but only on half of it. It has these really cool tiger stripes, which means volcanic action. So energy source, check. With all of these combinations, Enceladus has become a very promising lead in our search for worlds where life could exist. This giant snowball has become the target for NASA's next missions, amazingly named ELF and ELSA, which stand for Enceladus Life Finder and Enceladus Life Signatures and Habitability. Who would have thought a giant snowball at the edge of our solar system would be where life possibly exists? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatima. I love the simplification for everyone to understand. And you made the case that got me excited about exploring this specific topic. And I like the check and the check for the energy for the water. I hope you will get one more check that will boost you up to represent Qatar in FameLab internationally. But this will depend also on how you answer my colleagues and the jury, Dr. Muhammad and Sarah. Anybody would like to ask a question to Fatima before we give her a grade?
Sure. First of all, thank you for reigniting my passion for astronomy, which I feel I need to get back into. So you brought into something, when I was a kid, it was all about space, planets, aliens especially. So thank you for that. So the definition of life as defined by scientists on Earth is the requirement of liquid water. And so I see that you apply this concept to life outside of Earth. Are you then saying that life cannot exist without liquid water? And if that's the case, why is it so defined as a crucial point for the concept of what we define as life?
So that is one of the most philosophical questions in astronomy, is the fact that we only know the definition of life based on the life we know on Earth. There is no other life that we know. So, which is why we use this definition of liquid water, a unique chemistry, and an internal energy source, because that is what we know. However, it is possible that there are different life forms that are different from our current definition, which means that this is why we're not detecting it, because they're very different from us.
Wonderful. And just to give you a little bit of a build up on that, they've now redefined life on Earth as well, whereas once before they thought sunlight was a requirement, and now they found organisms in caves that live in a certain way that completely redefine what life is supposed to be about. So the possibility of liquid water not being essential is, like you said, a philosophical question that needs to be explored. And I hope this is something that you continue to be passionate about and continue to explore further as well. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Muhammad, you promised us some fun. You want to have some
I will
fun?
tell you something which is very interesting here.
Go ahead.
Very hot question. Yeah, Fatima, thank you for the presentation. I'm very excited to explore, because I like fun, huh? So explore living on another planet. So you know that microorganisms play a very important role in the composition of organic matter, and also they produce carbon dioxide, oxygen, and methane. Okay, which is very important here. So did you put in consideration, if we're gonna live there, what kind of microorganisms will be with us, and we'll be able to sustain these microorganisms with our body and in terms of immunity as well? Or we're gonna have new things that we're gonna face over there? This is a very challenging questions, and what do you think about that? Let me know how we think about it.
Yeah, there are several fields in astrobiology like specializing in this field, especially since, yeah, as you said, microbes, there are different microbes that produce methane and other things there. So if we go there, we would be bringing some new microorganisms with us, which could possibly affect life on there, because as you know, during the early Earth, there were microorganisms as well, but they died out or evolved into our current life forms. So if we go there, we would be introducing new microorganisms, and the microorganisms that are already there do contribute hydrogen, methane, carbon dioxide, which are essential to life over there.
Thank you. We'll see how it works if we go there.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you so much, Fatima. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Fatima. And that was the end of the adult category. And now we are going to our next category, which is the students category. Is everyone ready? Are you ready, guys? It is your turn now. And we will start with Shiriash Ghosh. Are you ready, Shiriash?
Yeah.
The stage is your 3 minutes starts.
Good morning, honorable judges and my fellow participants. I'm very thankful to British Council Qatar to give me this marvelous opportunity. Since the last year, we have all experienced how a tiny object can make a profound impact in our lives. I would like to get your attention towards a tiny object in our solar system, which has revolutionized our view on astrophysics and astrobiology. It is Enceladus, a tiny moon of Saturn with a diameter of around 504 kilometers, which I'll be talking about today. It is the most reflective object in our solar system as it is covered with a layer of fresh ice. It is in the same league as our Earth and Jupiter's moon, Europa. Enceladus was first discovered by British astronomer William Herschel in 1789. It was named after the giant Enceladus of Greek mythology. It is the sixth largest moon of the 13 most prominent moons of Saturn. As compared to our moon, Enceladus is 2% of its size, but only 0.1% of its mass. This shows that it is made up of lighter materials on top of a rocky core. Though Voyager 1 visited it during the 1980s, Cassini's mission in 2005 has dramatically increased our knowledge about this unique moon. Now, let us hold our breath for the surprises and see what Cassini bought for us. The temperature of Enceladus at the South Pole is minus 93 degrees Celsius, whereas at the equator, it is minus 193 degrees Celsius, which is quite unique in our solar system. It is jetting water plumes at a maximum speed of 1300 km per hour, which contributes to the formation of Saturn's E-ring. But where is it coming from? The southern pole of Enceladus has 4 main linear fractures known as tiger stripes. Due to the tidal stress and orbiting nature of Enceladus, these stripes are opened and closed, and the subsurface hot water from the ocean reaches to the stripes through hydrothermal vents and is released as plume. The depth of ice in the southern pole is extremely low. So what is the composition of the plume? It is definitely water, but mixed with a few fundamental chemicals such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, ammonia, hydrocarbons, methane, along with the nanograins of salt and silica. These chemicals are essential for supporting life and ecosystem. Nanoparticles of salt and silica are produced when liquid water and rock interact at temperatures above 90 degrees Celsius. Similar hydrothermal activities are also observed on Earth. Last but not the least, the Arabian Nights fantasy is on Enceladus' surface. The International Astronomical Union has named the 4 tiger stripes as Baghdad, Cairo, Alexandria, and Damascus. With its global subsurface ocean, Enceladus is considered to be one of the best places to search for life. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. I want to remind myself and my colleagues and the jury that we started student speeches, and I see a huge promise in that. I just want to give you small advice that would have kept me a little bit more focused for a pitch like that if you just narrow the objective and one key thing you wanted to, like a key message. Some headline I want to remember from your pitch. You covered too many topics for me, but again, maybe other people are smarter. They will capture more. You did great. And can I ask you why did you cloud your background so many artifacts? Is it on purpose? Because I wanted to focus on you. I kept on looking at what's behind you in terms of presentation.
Oh, this is my cupboard. This is my toy car collection.
Okay, and you
5 years of.
And the presentation, you wanted us to notice that?
No. I did want you to notice this and this, rather than that.
Okay.
Not really.
Great job. Great job. I wish you good luck, and I have my colleagues who might want to ask you a quick question also. Hamad or Sarah?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have a question. I think you did really well. If I was going to give you advice, the use of your props was you're moving too fast. You know, with the props, it got a little bit distracting, or it doesn't deliver the message as effectively. So maybe, you know, pick, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 props, really focus on it so that you can engage your audience a little bit better. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Thanks so much, Riaz. I think I don't have anything to add to my colleagues, Dr. Fahd and Dr. Sarah. You did a good job. Just stay focused. Thank you.
Mohammed, stay focused. Everybody was so clear. You saw very few questions because you were clear. You made your point, but focused a little bit more on one topic rather than clouding with too many things.
Was it good enough?
Yes, it's excellent. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shiriash, and thank you, judges. Now we will welcome our second participant in the students category, Justin Pacer. The stage is yours. Hello, Justin.
Hi, good morning.
So are you ready? Your time begins now.
Hi, excuse me, could I have a venti triple shot non-fat soy latte, 10 pumps vanilla, 60 degrees with extra shot and cream? Yep. How much? 54 reals. All right, that's great. Thanks. Oh, hi everyone. I didn't notice you there. I'm Justin, and I'm sorry you just had to witness how I order my regular Starbucks drink. Anyway, I know that most of us in this video call are all familiar with coffee. In fact, some of us, including me, depend on coffee to function for the rest of the day. And even during the pandemic, coffee was able to thrive, because I know that most of you were able to witness that Dalgona whipped coffee. Now, allow me to share a story. Part of our Filipino culture is coffee. I would know since when I was still about 7 years old, I already knew how to love coffee. But I can vividly remember my parents saying, Justin, stop drinking coffee or else you're never going to grow tall. And of course, my child brain didn't understand what they were saying. But as I grew older, I realized, that's not true. And let me tell you why. Well, for starters, coffee contains a stimulant known as caffeine. Now, when we drink coffee, these caffeine molecules are broken down. And when they're broken down, they run around the body. And since they're inside the body already, they can interfere with the breakdown of cyclic adenosine monophosphate, an intracellular messenger which are inside your cells that are responsible for regulating the body, also known as homeostasis, especially in your heart. Now, since this is not broken down, it is able to give those messages even more, which results in the release of epinephrine and norepinephrine in your kidney, which then starts for your heart to beat faster, where oxygen is being given into your brain and into your muscles, your kidney goes overdrive, and you become more alert, all of which are similar to the effects of anxiety, which is the feeling of fear, worry, and uneasiness. In short, caffeine can recreate the stress conditions of the body, heightening levels of anxiety and adrenaline, which is our fight and flight hormone. So going back to my story, coffee doesn't actually stop me from growing tall. It's the mere fact that since coffee hypes me up and the rest of my 6-year-old body, it doesn't allow me to sleep. And we all know that as a child, tons of sleep is required for growth and development. So what am I trying to prove here? Well, I'm not trying to discourage you from drinking coffee, tea, soda, or any beverage which contains caffeine. But I want you to moderate your caffeine intake, about 4 cups a day, and that's it. Because everything feels so great as long as there is moderation. Because look at me, I'm a huge fan of coffee, but I'm still alive and kicking. Thank you and have a great day. I'll see you at the Starbucks next door.
Thank you, Justin. I understood it totally and I loved it. I wish it could go on for another half an hour. You did a great job in grabbing my attention. But I have with me a specialist in neuroscience, and she cares a lot about the topic. I want to see what kind of questions you might have depth to answer. Dr. Sarah?
So you covered that caffeine affects metabolism, affects growth hormones, etc. Have you touched upon how that can alter neurodevelopment or areas within the brain?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not in particular with what you're asking right now, especially in terms of development in the brain. But all I know is that caffeine goes a long way in the field of science. And what's interesting about caffeine is that a lot of people like me love coffee, but we don't really know what's the science behind what we're drinking, the science behind caffeine. And that's the turning point for me there. That's a turning point for me there to realize that we can study more on caffeine and not just how we just drink regular coffee every day, but there can be so much more, especially in what you're trying to say. And it's interesting for us to go into that field as well.
So in general, what it does is it's a stimulant. It's a pharmacological stimulant. It triggers neural activity. It can trigger areas of the brain to be more active than normal. So it can create, like you said, alertness. It can create a hyper-responsiveness. So all of these things in general can affect different areas and different organs within your brain. But you've touched upon this. So we were just kind of focusing a little bit more, but you brought it up really nicely already. Thank you.
Are you familiar with microbiology, Justin? Are you familiar with microbiology?
I'm not going to ask about microbiology, Justin, but I want to ask you two things. I don't drink coffee every day at all. So is this going to affect my life, or should I go to drinking coffee? Because I can't drink coffee. I just drink 1 cup of tea in the morning. What do you think about me doing this?
Give us a scientific advice.
Give me a scientific advice.
So a lot of people drink coffee for a reason. Number one is they really want to become alert. You know, if you have a lot of backlogs, you lack sleep, and you wanted to function for the rest of the day, you drink coffee. But as what you have said, you don't drink coffee. So does that affect your life? Not really, because drinking coffee is a personal preference. And in the long run, caffeine can actually affect us because it's going to be a repeated cycle of waking up until...
So all the data will be integrated through artificial intelligence and machine learning through your Google. I mean, something like it will be like a Google map.
This is something...
Everybody mute and everybody turn off camera unless you're...
Justin, let me be specific in my question, okay? And then I will end with another question. Do you think if I drink coffee and have an experience of heart palpitation, I'm not feeling well with that, should I stop drinking coffee?
Of course, certainly, because as I have said in my...
I'm having this kind of heart palpitation. You mentioned something about cardiovascular effect. Why I'm having this kind of heart palpitation? Why the rhythm is really, why boom, 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 boom in my heart like that? Why this heart palpitation occurs?
So, all right. So palpitations occur when we're, All right, let me explain just a little bit of what I know.
Okay.
All right. So I believe that we're experiencing palpitations in our heart when we're drinking caffeine. It's because there's a lot of oxygenated blood that's coming in, as I have said earlier in my explanation, with regards to epinephrine and norepinephrine that is released by our kidney. So when our heart beats twice as fast, probably more oxygenated blood is run into our system. You know, there's an exchange in our lungs, in our heart, in our brain, which then contributes a lot to why we're having palpitations.
That's a good explanation, but I want to add something for you to know and read about it. Is calcium, okay? And caffeine have been shown to increase the number of, or the calcium levels in the body and in different cells. And you know this is have also to be affected on the heart, so it squeezes more rapidly, okay? But my last question before I leave, do you think if I drink coffee, I'll be taller? I think I'm not very tall, so I want to be taller. What do you think about that?
I don't think it correlates anything to, you know, drinking coffee and actually becoming taller, because you know
your parents said you're not gonna be tall and you drink coffee and you're fine. Yalla, go.
Oh, well.
You did a great job. Thank you so much, Justin.
Yalla, good luck, Justin.
Thank you so much.
Next one.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, judges. Now let's all welcome our third participant in the student categories, Lara Esperto. Lara Esperto, are you ready?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well. Can you hear her, judges?
Yes,
yep.
we do.
Okay, let's start.
Anytime.
The stage is yours.
Hi, I'm Hi, I'm Hedwig. I'm 9 years old and I love warm hugs, etc. Oh, hi, I'm in the screen right now. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Daisy and cut. That's the wrap. Sorry, did I frighten you? But anyways, DID, does it ring a bell? So you see, DID, otherwise known as dissociative identity disorder or multiple personality disorder, is a kind of mental health condition that affects the behavior of the brain of the person, making an illusion that he or she switches to a range of different alters, somewhat like a deck of cards. So as you can see here, each card has the same pattern and color at the back, signifying that they only have one vessel. but when I flipped them, they'd had different faces serving different purposes. Are the ideas clicking into place? Now, this disorder is strongly linked but not limited to childhood trauma. Yes, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're back to Mr. Smartpants up here. But this time, let me introduce you to amygdala, an almond-shaped mass inside our brain known as the seat of emotions, and the structure next to it, the hippocampus, having major role in memory and learning. So, how do they work? Basically, the amygdala senses threat or danger that affects the emotions of the person to the point in which they can't take it anymore. This in turn will create the brain to have a sense of defense mechanism that will generate another alter ego to protect the original. And because of that immense stress, cells deteriorate in the hippocampus, thereby causing time gaps. But how does the whole switcheroo thing exactly work? Well, imagine a dark room filled with chairs, and each one corresponds to a person with a distinct age, facial feature, and gender. Then at the very center is a chair with a spotlight, and whoever gets to sit in that chair has the privilege of controlling the vessel. Now, I know it may be hard to believe, although we should really respect the person and what they've been through, because we won't know what they felt unless we were the ones in that situation. So right now, all that we can do is to accept, to respect, and to be aware. This has been Lara Esperto presenting a deck of identities. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. You definitely made an impression and simplified very much. I like the way you summarized with your key messages at the end, so we remember something from the pitch to take home. And I enjoyed very much, but I want to see scientifically if what you're talking about makes sense to my colleagues, Dr. Sarah and Dr. Mohammed.
Thank you so much, Lara. So the disorder that you brought up is a really complex disorder, and a lot of times people confuse that with disorders like schizophrenia, for example. So within the umbrella of dissociative disorders, do you know the 4 different types that exist within them?
Can you repeat your question?
Do you know of the 4 subcategories of dissociative disorders? Because them on its own, dissociative disorder is an umbrella term. Do you know of the 4 subcategories within dissociative disorders?
Unfortunately, I haven't read about that, but I would take my time to do so.
Okay, wonderful. So do you know of any treatments that are currently being implemented for such disorders?
Yes, right now there's only the psychotherapy in which a professional in the psychological field will talk to the person and about their traumatic experiences to lessen the symptoms of the disorder, or so that the person will be able to control the disorder.
Okay, thank you. And so taking into consideration that it's a psychological disorder, how would one clearly identify a dissociative disorder in comparison to, say, schizophrenia?
Well, actually, schizophrenia is something that has to do with having no hope or having a different set of ideas. So it has no relation with multiple personality disorder or DID because it doesn't involve splitting or having multiple personalities. So yeah, they have no correlation at all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Mohammed, clear to you?
Yes, Lara, but I have a question, Lara. Good job, exciting presentation. How do you think those people who are suffering from this kind of syndromes or disorders will cope with their life?
This is why, okay, sorry. So this is why people need to go to the psychiatrist or do therapy, because each and every time that they see a traumatic event, their emotions will take place and another alter will switch and control their body. So I think the best way for the person to really regulate that disorder without going to the therapist is that they need to move on.
When you say move on, Did you read about how they can really cope with that?
Sorry?
When you say move on, how they move on? Can you explain a little bit more here?
Okay.
Because I'm going to bring you to a very important point briefly after that.
So moving on has a lot. Sorry, I'm stuttering so much.
No, it's okay. You're doing good.
Thank you. Moving on has a lot of something to do with letting go of the previous trauma that you've experienced. I know it's really hard to let go of the trauma, but that's the case here. It's the trauma that really affects the personalities or the alters to show up. So unless you can't really do something about that trauma, then you won't be able to control all the alters inside your body.
It is a brief answer, which is good anyways. And also you have to know that they have to find ways to calm, relax, start to get involved in many things, for example, in their work, start to plan, organize, and so forth and so on. The reason I'm asking you this, because you know that it has been associated with suicidal behavior or not? And self-harm.
Yes, it has.
Do you know what is the percentage of those people that can attempt suicide if they have DID?
Unfortunately, I also don't know the specific numbering of the people.
That's fine, but you have to know that this is high, almost 70%, which really, this is kind of critical here when talking about suicide at 70%. Thank you so much, Lara. Okay, did a good job, and thanks for the information that you give us.
Thank you for the communication. Very clear, Lara. Good luck, and moving on with what?
Thank you, Lara. Thank you, judges. Now let's all welcome our fourth contestant in the students category, Khalid Fahad. The stage is yours. Are you ready, Khalid?
Can you just signal 3, 2, 1? Because I have a timer, I want to just be prepared. Because depending on the time, I might add some few things or remove a few things, okay?
Okay, I will tell you that your time will start now, so you just click on your camera. Okay, Khalid?
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's
Wait
start.
Wait a second,
okay.
Can you repeat?
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Launch.
Hello, everybody. I would like to begin by asking you all 2 questions, if I may. I guess that's a yes. So my second question is, when we're doing things, don't we usually do it because it will benefit our lives, it will make it better, and we want to avoid things that worsen our life, yes? Basically by doing good things and bad things. Well, my question is, how do you know that this thing will benefit your life and this thing will worsen your life, huh? How can you be 100% sure that this thing has a complete benefit to your life? And if you keep that question in your head, because I'll answer it at the end. Okay, so my study is operant conditioning. And the person who studied, who is a young behaviorist, which is a person who studies how the world affects our thoughts and mental imagery and connections, said that operant conditioning will be using 2 stimuli via teaching. Appetitive and noxious. Appetitive is basically a happy feeling, while noxious is that sad feeling you have, okay? So he split it into 3 things, all right? And those 3 things are, wait, is it not feeling? Is it feeling? Okay, this is reinforcement, this is extinction, and this is punishments. These 3 things, I know it's crazy, right? We first begin with reinforcements. There are 2 types of reinforcements: positive appetitive and negative noxious. Positive appetitive basically says, you're doing really good, Khalid. Thank you for your excellent work. So you're gonna be rewarded with the new FIFA game. Yes. Then the second one we have is negative noxious, which basically states, Khalid, I like that every time you're coming to when you grow up, I trust you, Khalid, now. I believe that you are worth it. You have your curfew removed. You can play at any time, which is also a yes. Then we have punishments, which is basically the flip side. Negative appetitive and positive noxious, which basically means, positive noxious basically means, and the second one, which believe me, everyone feels this fear in their hearts when they hear it. You're grounded. It hurts. And then we have the negative appetitive, which basically states, Khalid, you're doing really bad. I don't like these grades. Your Sumi has been taken away. You're not allowed to play anymore. Okay, Khalid? And extinction is basically just this behavior. Your son is hyperactive. They're just a kid. Let them be. They're kids, yeah? And by my question, the answer is simple. We're taught this. Parents teach us this. And depending on a parent, good grades are good, bad grades are bad. Good grades take us up, bad grades down.
Khalid.
And now, thank you, Khalid, your time. Thank you very much. Judges, do you have any questions for Khalid?
Khalid, very entertaining. Very entertaining. Thank you very much. And the theater science is alive. But I have one simple question for you. Khalid, أنت بتحكي عربي ما هيك؟
إيه الحمد لله.
طيب اعطيني شي one line هيك تتذكروا بالعربي من كل هالتمثيلية. بالعربي يلا في مسج بدي رسالة أساسية تضلها براسي بالعربي يلا يا خالد.
الفوز بالتعب.
الفوز بالتعب.
بدون ما تتعب. وبالإنجليزي no pain no gain.
Okay, let's hope your pain will help you gain. I hope so. Dr. Mohammed, let's stop.
Well, I loved it. I loved it, ya Khalid. Yani, it's this is the real fun. That I'm talking about, Dr. Fahad. This guy is applying the fun in the science. Yes, يا خالد قول.
كنت بقول شيء حق دكتور فؤاد. أنا عارف إنك تحب AI صح أستاذ؟ ويعني تشوف هالدرس دكتور هالدرس صدقني بدونه ما تقدر تضيف ولا شيء فيه لأن شنو AI يحتاج يتعلم صح؟ يتعلم كيف الرياكشن بيعطيك وناسة وزعل. إيه؟ هاي بدون هالدرس بيروح فيها ال AI. لازم هالدرس مهم وايد.
أنا بشكرك كثير على الوصلة، هذه وصلة طلعت لي بونس، شكرا.
بس ده كويس، أنت كده حطيت نفسك في نقطة معايا بقى، طب أنت إزاي هتوصلها بالAI؟ ممكن تقول لي بسرعة؟
يعني بفهمك إنزين، أنا عارف إنه في FL صح؟ FL خلينا نقول.
طب ما speak English كده طيب عشان الناس تعرف برضو معانا اللي who is not speaking Arabic.
So in coding there's an if or if function, yes? So basically I would say that if this guy is happy by giving him the FIFA 2022 disc, then you should apply that fact by giving more people FIFA 22 CDs. You apply that to the learning, and يتعلمه تقول له ان if I generate a good reaction, keep on doing it, and if this generates a bad reaction, don't do it, because then it will keep generating bad reactions and the rating will fall.
طيب خلاص شكرا يا خالد. ثانك يو.
عفوا.
دكتور سارة عندك شيء لخالد؟ بس اوكي اذا بحكي عربي لانه في ترانسليشن شانل اذا الناس بدهم يروحوا على ترانسليشن في
اوكي that's great.
تفضلي.
Thank you for pointing out this.
I really mashallah عليك and you're very passionate. This is exactly what I was looking for, or you know your information really well. But I'm going to take you back to your initial question, which was what makes people decide what to do. And based on your examples of positive noxious and positive appetitive, out of the two areas, which one do people lean towards more? Is it positive appetitive or noxious that allows them to really make a decision in their day-to-day lives, as you posed in the beginning?
So I'll tell you one thing, okay? So first of all, we know that negative provides noxious, but due to this being behaviorism, which is the study, because you know the researcher who did this, B.F. Skinner, he basically said he denied the first study of it, which is I believe it's called conditioning, just general conditioning, okay? So he just said, like, no, they don't have to like provide biological evidence and this. He said this is all in your head, how the effect. So the stimuli, I didn't go into that deeply, but noxious stimuli could basically pose negative damage to your body, negative tissue cells, okay? But one thing I am 100% sure of, when you're deprived of something, you want it more, yeah? Like for example, you know your children, when they ask for FIFA and you tell them no, it's PS5 basically, yeah? Tell them no, and you keep on denying them until one day you give them it. They'll become 5 times happier, yeah? they'll jump around and saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, this is basically called deprived reinforcement. Basically giving them something that they really want, and this doubles the effect of any of these three. The most resonated thing is this deprived reinforcement.
Okay, you resonated with the jury very well.
Thank you very much.
بالتوفيق يا خالد, and moving on مع وعد.
شكرا جزيلا.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Khalid. Let's all welcome our fifth participant in the students category, Malika Albi. Malika, the stage is yours. Are you ready, Malika?
Yes. السلام عليكم, معكم ملكة من مدرسة الكعبة.
Okay, Malika, your time will begin now.
Okay. تخيل إنك شايف كل الناس مثل بعضها، كلها لنفس الشكل، كلها ملامحها واحدة. كيف بدك تفرق بين هالناس؟ طب كيف بدك تتعامل معهم؟ أنت شخصياً شو بده يصير فيك؟ يمكن نحن شوي سرحنا بخيالنا، الواقع مو هيك. صح إنه نحن كلياتنا بشر، بس مع ذلك مختلفين. أنت برأيك شو السبب ورا الشي هذا؟ أنا بقول لك السبب هو الحمض النووي. شو هو الحمض النووي؟ شو أهميته في الجسم؟ لنتعرف عليهم هلا. أولاً سنتفق على أن الحمض النووي لديه نوعان، ال DNA وال RNA. ما هو الحمض النووي ال DNA؟ هو أحد المركبات الجزيئية البيولوجية في الجسم. أين يوجد؟ داخل الحمض النووي لها. مما يتكون من النيوكليوتيدات التي تتكون من قواعد نيتروجينية، وهي 4 أنواع: الأدينين، الثيامين، السيتوسين، والجوانين. وهذه القواعد هي بمثابة الحروف الأساسية التي تكتب بها الجينات، والجينات هي جزء من الحمض النووي DNA، وهي التي تنقل أوصاف الطفل من الأم والأب، لذا نسمي الجينات بالمورثات. ما هو الحمض النووي ال RNA؟ هو أحد المركبات الجزيئية البيولوجية في الفيروسات. أين يوجد؟ داخل الغلاف البروتيني لها، مما يتكون من النيوكليوتيدات التي تتكون من قواعد نيتروجينية، وهي 4 أنواع أيضاً تماماً كالDNA، ولكنها تختلف في قاعدة واحدة وهي الثيامين. فعند ال RNA تكون اليوراسيل. ما هو شكل الحمض النووي؟ أولاً هذا هو الكروماتيد. إذا قمنا بفكه فإننا سنجد أن الحمض النووي عبارة عن سلم ملتف مكون من سلسلتين، أما ال RNA فهو مكون من سلسلة واحدة فقط. ما وظيفة الحمض النووي؟ الخلايا تحصل على المعلومات للقيام بوظائفها من الحمض النووي، تماماً كنظام تشغيل الكمبيوتر. فالكمبيوتر هو الخلية، ونظام التشغيل هو الحمض النووي. فنظام التشغيل هو الذي يقول للكمبيوتر كيف يتصرف وكيف يقوم بوظائفه. إذن الحمض النووي هو الذي يحمل المعلومات والإرشادات الخاصة لبناء البروتينات المهمة لقيام الجسم بوظائفه المختلفة كالنمو والتطور والتكاثر. بما أننا ذكرنا أن الحمض النووي هو السبب في اختلافنا عن بعضنا البعض، نفهم أن السبب من امتلاك أحد الأشخاص عيونا زرقاء اللون بدلا من البنية، وإصابة البعض بأمراض على عكس الأشخاص السليمين، هو التغير الجيني في هذا الحمض النووي. إذن التغير الجيني في الحمض النووي هو الذي يؤدي إلى تكوينك أنت، وهو الذي يميزك عن الآخرين. وأيضا إن السبب في عدم معرفتنا لعلاج لفيروس كورونا حتى الآن هو أن الحمض النووي ال RNA لديه يتغير باستمرار. شكرا.
شكرا يا مليكة، وشكرا خاص للعرض العلمي بالعربي. وهيدا دفع لأنه لغتنا العربية غنية وقادرة أن تواكب التطور العلمي، ويجب أن نتواصل كمان مع شعبنا باللغة العربية اللي هن بيفهموها أكثر لأنها هي لغتهم الأم. شكرا لك لأنك عملتي هالجهد، وأنا حبيت كثير كمان الستايل هيدا، سؤال وجواب سؤال وجواب سؤال وجواب. كنت كثير فعالة بهالموضوع، فأنا لإلي بصراحة سوبر ستار. مليكة عملتي شغلة كثير منيحة، ومن ان ساينس وبالعربي وبطريقة كثير مبسطة وبتفهم الناس. ومعي أطباء هون تنشوف إنه هالتبسيط ليقوم خسر المعنى العلمي الحقيقي والأساسي. دكتور محمد، دكتور سارة، يورز.
لا بصراحة يعني ما خسرش أي معنى علمي، بالعكس ده هي بسطت المعنى العلمي بصورة جميلة جدا. يعني أقول لك يا مليكة، يعني this is the best model
of how you explain to someone who doesn't know about the topic. الشخص اللي ما يعرفش الموضوع دوت هيفهمه منك بصوره مبسطه جدا. فانا شاكر ليكي جدا وبضم صوتي للدكتور فؤاد قد ايه ان انت بذلتي مجهود ان انت تتكلمي باللغه العربيه، ودي مش حاجه سهله ابدا ان احنا نعمل برزنتيشن او نتكلم في مجال علمي ساينتفك من ناحيه الميديسن كمان بالذات وبنتكلم باللغه العربيه. شكرا ليكي في النقطه دي. طالما اثرتي نقطه الكوفيد 19 والميوتيشنز، مع ان احنا بنتكلم مينلي على الميوتيشن في الهيومن بينج، فانت تطرقتي هنا للكوفيد. طيب بالنسبه للميوتيشنز اللي بتحصل، هو انت قلت لنا ان في عندك دي ان اي وار ان اي. طيب الكورونا فيروس ده بقى عنده ار ان اي ولا دي ان اي؟
ار ان اي.
برافو، تمام. طب والار ان اي دوت، هل في الفيروسات عندك قريتي ان ممكن يكون، ممكن انت قلتي الار ان اي بيبقى نسيج واحد اللي هو سنجل ستراندد صح؟ دايما مظبوط؟ هل في الفيروسات ممكن نلاقي في بعض الفيروسات شبيهه بالدي ان اي بس هي ار ان اي وعندها دبل ستراند؟ يعني الاثنين بيبقوا موجودين مزدوج مع بعض؟
في فيروسات بتحتوي على دي ان اي وار ان اي، وفي فيروسات بتحتوي بس على ار ان اي، وفي فيروسات بتحتوي بس على دي ان اي.
بصي الفيروسات يا اما دي ان اي ار ان اي، خلاص عشان بس متفقين، وفي فيروسات بيبقى عندها ار ان اي من نسيج واحد وار ان اي مزدوج، ممكن ده تحصل للفيروسات فقط. تمام. طيب الكورونا عندنا هو بيكون من واحد بس. تطرقتي الى موضوع الميوتيشنز او الطفرات. طيب احنا بقى بنعاني دلوقتي من الموضوع دوت في الكورونا.
هو التغير الحمض النووي عنده بتغير باستمرار، لهيك لحد الآن ما لقينا علاج مناسب له ودائم.
تمام. طب هل ده مؤثر على عملية اللقاح اللي موجود؟ موضوع الطفرات الموجودة؟
اللقاح هلا حاليا بناسب يعني جزء من، يعني هو مو له عدة مراحل بتغير كل فترة، فهو لفترة معينة اللقاح مناسب له، فترة تانية بتغير نرجع نجيب لقاح تاني هيك.
تمام. اوكي. اولا متشكر مره ثانيه وبشكرك جدا جدا على البرزنتيشن بتاعتك دكتور ساره. if you want to add. thank you.
شكرا ما شاء الله عليك. well done. No questions from my side. ما عندي سؤال. شكرا.
ممتاز. توفيق يا مليكه، ان شاء الله نشوفك. وعد. Who's next?
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Marika. Now let's move to our next contestant in the students category, Maryam Al-Jabri. Welcome, Maryam. The stage is yours. How are you feeling, Maryam?
Yeah, I'm fine. A little bit nervous.
Nervousness means that you are excited and you're going to do great. Maryam, your time begins now. Go ahead.
كام مرة كنت نايم وصحيت فجأة لقيت نفسك متأخر، فرحت قايم بسرعة، وأكيد لما قمت مرة واحدة حسيت إنك مش متوازن، فرحت قاعد تاني لحد ما حسيت إنك أحسن. يا ترى إيه هو تفسير الحالة دي؟ لو اعتبرنا الإزازة دي هي جسمك والمية اللي جواها الدم، وإنت نايم في مستوى القلب، شايف المية مستقرة إزاي؟ لو عدلنا الإزازة مرة واحدة وخليناها بشكل عمودي، أخدت بالك المية كلها نزلت لتحت فجأة إزاي؟ هو ده بالظبط اللي بيحصل جوه جسمنا لما بنقوم مرة واحدة. الجاذبية هي اللي بتخلي الدم يقع لتحت بسرعة كبيرة جدا، ففي خلال الثواني دي بعض الأجسام مش بتلحق تستجيب، ولو نسبة الدم الواصلة للمخ أقل من 60% بتحس بدوخة شديدة جدا، ولو المدة طولت عن كده ممكن لا قدر الله يغمى عليك. لو عايزين نوصل المية لباقي الإزازة هنعمل إيه؟ يا إما هنضغط عليها من تحت وبكده المية هتطلع لفوق، أو هنملأها على الآخر وبالتالي المية هتوصل لكل الأجزاء. وهو ده اللي بيحصل جوه جسمنا، لأن أكيد مش هيغمى علينا في كل مرة هنقوم فيها، لأن ربنا خلق في القلب مستقبلات للضغط بتنبه المخ لو في أي تغيير حصل في مستوى الدم، وبتقوله خلي بالك الدم اللي وصل لك هيقل. المخ بدوره بيبعت رسالتين، الرسالة الأولى بتكون للقلب بيخليه يزيد من عدد الضربات وينقبض أكتر، وبالتالي بيضخ كمية أكبر من الدم للخلايا. الرسالة الثانية بتكون للأوعية الدموية الطرفية، بيخليها تنقبض بطريقة معينة زي الإزازة، وبالتالي الدم بيطلع لفوق. حالة الزغللة والدوخة اللي أحيانا بتحصل لك اسمها العلمي انخفاض ضغط الدم الانتصابي Orthostatic Hypotension، والحالة دي بتحصل بصورة فسيولوجية طبيعية نتيجة لوقوف الشخص بسرعة، لكن في بعض الحالات بتكون عند أشخاص أكبر من سن 60، وده بيكون بسبب خلل في مستقبلات الضغط مع تقدم العمر. بتكون برضو موجودة عند أصحاب الضغط العالي وأمراض القلب والجهاز العصبي، وفي أكتر الحالات بتكون عرض من أعراض الجفاف. في علاج بعض الحالات بيلجأ الأطباء لأدوية لزيادة انقباض الأوعية الدموية الطرفية للحفاظ على استقرار ضغط الدم. وعشان الحالة دي ما تحصلكش لازم تحافظ على شرب السوائل لتجنب الجفاف، ولازم ما تغيرش وضع جسمك بطريقة مفاجئة وتقوم بالتدريج عشان مش كل مرة هتيجي تقع. شكرا.
شكرا يا مريم. يعني انا بعيد عن مجال الطب بس حببتيني بالمجال الطبي، وهيدي الطريقه تبعك ستوري تيلينج، يعني فكرتينا اياها فعلا كقصه. نحن كلنا بنعاني منها بشغلنا، انه نحاول يعني نبلغ عن عملنا وعن كيف نتواصل مع الناس بالستوري تيلينج. سو بيعملوا لنا تريننج لليوم كيف نعمل ستوري تيلينج. You did a great job. Congratulations من هيك الناحيه. انا شوقتيني اتعلم اكثر طب ولو في عمري، بس هلا معي طب دكتور محمد، دكتور ساره، هني بخبروني هذا الاهتمام الكبير بخصوص الشباب والصبايا شيء بيرفع الراس. تفضل دكتور محمد.
والله انا اتشوقت برضه زيك والله يا دكتور فؤاد بالرغم ان ده مجالي يعني. الطريقه اللي هي عملت لي برزنتيشن برضه كانت مشوقه جدا. شكرا يا مريم. really thank you so much. انا بس عايز اعرف، انت ذكرتي حاجه مهمه جدا وربطتيها كويس، استخدامك لازازه الميه دي مهمه جدا، هقول لك ليه دلوقتي. وقلتي في الاخر ان انت حاول تشرب سوائل كتير، مظبوط؟ انا على فكره في ايكو سامع بتاع صوتي بس ما اعرفش عند مين. بس anyways
everybody mute unless you're speaking. Everybody mute please.
Please make sure that your mics are on mute please.
تفتكر شرب الميه ده هيساعد على الموضوع دوت ان هو يحله؟
هو شرب الميه هيساعد على التقليل من الجفاف. الجفاف هو عامل يعني رئيسي بيخلي الحاجه دي تحصل.
ممتاز. ليه بقى؟ ممكن تشرحي لي بس a bit more؟
لأن الجفاف بيكون سببه نقص السوائل في الجسم، ويعني ارتفاع درجة الحرارة والجهد بيسبب نقص السوائل، فهو سبب رئيس من أسباب الجفاف، وهو ده الأورثوستاتيك هايبوتنشن، عرض من أعراض الجفاف.
فيقلل الضغط. تمام. طب جميل جدا، ممتاز، شرح ممتاز جدا جدا. وبالتالي ازازه الميه اللي انت استخدمتيها دي عجبتني كمان، مش بس عشان الميثود اللي انت شرحتها لنا بيها، بس كمان عشان نربط ان قد ايه الميه هنا مهمه عشان تعوضنا. الناس دايما بيبقى عندهم جفاف او بيجي لهم عمليه اللي عندهم ثرو اب، يعني بيحصل لهم مثلا فوميشن او بيحصل لهم اسهال او داريه، بيبقى عندهم سبجكتد الموضوع ده برده بسرعه عاليه نتيجه لان بيفقدوا نسبه سوائل كتيره جدا من جسمهم. ممتاز جدا جدا. ده كان سؤالي. متشكر جدا جدا يا مريم. اجابتي.
ثانك يو.
كمان
مريم بهيك بسنتنس وحده، يعني بجمله وحده، شو فيك تقولي تتحمسي الصبايا والشباب العرب ينخرطوا اكثر بمجال العلوم التطبيقيه والرياضيات والهندسه والطب؟ اعطيني جمله.
جملة واحدة. المجال ده فيه حاجات كتير خفايا محدش يعرفها، في حاجات بتحصل لنا بشكل يومي بنواجهها وبتحصل لنا شخصيا ما بنبقاش عارفين تفسيراتها. لو دخلنا في المجال ده بنسبة 10% هنقدر ان احنا نفسر حاجات كتير جدا بتحصل حوالينا احنا مش قادرين نفهمها او نعالجها.
ممتاز. انا بدي اقتبس هذه الجمله منك واستعملها من هلا وبالرايح بكل مقابلاتي لانه عجبتني كثير. بالتوفيق يا مريم.
يا مريم، انت شوتينج فور كليه الطب ولا ايه؟
You recruited.
Trying to recruit. You raised my mind.
الله عليك.
You have to find good students.
ما شاء الله.
طبعا. يلا ان شاء الله ربنا يوفقك.
شكرا مريم. يلا وعد تفضلي next.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Mariam, and I wish all the participants the best of luck. Now let's move to our seventh participant in the students category, Mohammed Ranim. The stage is yours. Are you ready, Mohammed?
Hello, I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, when can I start?
Mohammed, the stage is yours. Your time begins now.
أن أهم ما يميز الكائنات الحية على سطح هذا الكوكب هو التواصل، فمنها أن يتواصل عن طريق الكلام أو الأصوات أو التلامس وحتى الاستشعار. لكن التواصل عند البشر شهد تطور كبير عبر الحضارات المختلفة وتعدد اللغات واستعمال الإشارات، ومنذ بدء الكتابة لدى البشر رافقها أسلوب تطور إلى علم كامل له أسس وقوانين في عصرنا هذا، وهو ما يسمى بعلم التشفير encryption. بدأ علم التشفير منذ القدم بأشكال بدائية لدى الفراعنة والصينيين وحضارات ما بين النهرين والإغريق، وتعد هذه الطرق أمثلة على التشفير المتماثل والتي يعني من أبسط أنواع التشفير. وعلى أحد أهم هذه الطرق هو ما يعرف به تشفير سيزر. تعتمد هذه الطريقة على أن يتم إزاحة الأحرف بمقدار معين يعرفه أحد الطرفين، فمثلما يتم كتابة 3 أحرف فتكتب التاء بدلا من الألف، وهكذا تكتب الرسالة بالأبجدية الجديدة. فبدلا ممن أقول السلام عليكم سأقول تنصنت فنبه السلام قولا من رب الرحيم. بني فيما بعد طرق أخرى مبنية على طريقة سيزر للتشفير، وهي بعمل ترتيب عشوائي يتفق عليه الطرفان المرسل والمستقبل، وقد يكون هذا الترتيب على شكل جملة أو بيت شعر يحتوي على كل الأحرف، وهو ما برع به العرب ونقلوه إلى مستوى آخر. مثال: صح عندي وقت شغل بهم، أخذ فض كث زطا ضرا جسي. حسنا، برع العرب في اللغة والرياضيات، وبسبب تطور تلك العلوم قام ببنو دوريهم بأول أساسيات التشفير الغير متماثل في عام 1300 ميلادي، حيث قام بتحويل الأحرف إلى أرقام حسب جدول متفق عليه، ثم قام بعمل عملية حسابية على تلك الأرقام، ثم قام بتحويل تلك الأرقام إلى أحرف، فتصبح لدينا رسالة مشفرة صعبة الاختراق. من الجدير بالذكر هنا أن التشفير ليس موضوع تاريخي، بل هو علم شائع كل منا يستخدمه في حياته اليومية، أما في المراسلات الإلكترونية أو في أجهزة صرف الوقود، بل إننا نستعملها الآن للحصول على مكالمات صوت وصورة محمية من الاختراق. وعند فتح متصفح الإنترنت ستجد علامة القفل الخضراء، وهذا ما يعني أنك تقوم بتبديل المعلومات بطريقة مشفرة وآمنة. لكن هذه ليست نهاية القصة، فمع تطور علم التشفير هناك علم آخر بالمقابل يتطور بشكل رهيب، ألا وهو علم فك التشفير كريبتاناليسيس. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
شكرا يا محمد. بسطت الموضوع كثير معقد ووصلت رسالة أنا بتذكرها ولحضلني استعملها هلا وقت اللي بدي بسط الأمور للأشخاص المن بالاختصاص. بس بدي اطمن انه محمد جاهز للمستقبل. فيك تطمني علميا وتخبرني كيف التشفير اللي عم تشرحه متعلق بشيء كثير ترندي اليوم نسمعه everywhere، صار يعني مثل موضة بتسمعها، اللي هي البلوك تشين. كيف البلوك تشين والتشفير وعلاقتهم؟
التشفير بيتكوين مثلا، التشفير شنو؟ بيتكوين هو انه يحول كلام لكلام ما حد يفهمه الا الشخص اللي يبيع والشخص اللي يشتري.
بلوك تشين سامع بالبلوك تشين؟
بلوك تشين يعني هو مثلا يعني نفس ما انت ذكرت ان التشفير اكثر من شيء. مثلا عندك بلو فيش يعني كلمات وايد، فالتشفير يعني ينطبق تحت اي درجه منهم. هو اكيد غير متماثل، لان نفس ما انا ذكرت ان الغير متماثل طبقت تشفير زياده، والبيتكوين صعب تطلع اللوكيشن ماله وتطلع يعني اشياء وتشوف مين اللي شرى ومين المشتري، فهم اكيد يعني يستخدمون اكثر من نوع تشفير مع بعض ويدمجونه تحت تشفير غير متماثل.
اوكي، هلا التشفير كمان كان مستوحى من امثله طبيه، وفي معنا طبيبين دكتور ساره ودكتور محمد، اكيد عندهم اسئله تشوف هذا التبسيط اللي بسطته له علاقه كمان بالمجال تبعهم. تفضل دكتور محمد.
والله اكيد ان احنا عندنا تشفير موجود في الجسم بتاعنا. عارف التشفير الموجود في الجسم الانسان ولا لا؟
قبل كان في تشفير يعني موجود في جسم الانسان
اللي هو
مثلا هو اللي موجود اللي هو الدي ان اي نفس ما ذكرها زميلتي إضافة DNA أو RNA. فهاي التشفير يستخدمونه يعني الأطباء عشان يعرفون من الأب من الأم وإلى آخره، ويعرفون يعني الصفات الجينية. مثلا أنا مثلا يعني شعري أسود، فأكيد ما راح يكون شعر أبوي ذهبي ولا شيء ثاني، وعشان شيء يستخدم التشفير في كل شيء.
والشفره دي بقى بتؤدي لايه في الاخر؟ مش احنا عندك الدي ان ايه لسه كنا سامعين دلوقتي الدي ان ايه ده بيتكون من بعض النيوكليوتايدز كده اللي هي الاي جي سي وات ايفر. طب ده بقى لما بنفك الشفره دي بتؤدي تطلع لنا ايه في الاخر؟ عارف لما الشفره دي تتفك؟
طبعا هاي الشفره لما تفكها يمديك تعرف يعني استغفر الله يعني تنبأ شنو بيصير في المستقبل. مثلا يعني لو فكيت الشفره
بس انا اللي اقصده ايه؟ ان انت لما بتجمع ده بيطلعه في شكل امينو اسيدز، الامينو اسيدز دي بتطلع شكل بروتينات، والبروتينات دي هي اللي بتعمل لك الشكل بقى اللي هو اللي انت بتتكلم عليه في النهائي ده اللي هو انت بتقوله ده. طيب ده من الناحيه الطبيه. طب انا عايز ارجع تاني سؤال الدكتور فؤاد يمكن عشان نقطه بلوك تشين دي مهمه جدا جدا. تفتكر موضوع التشفير ده هينفع معانا دلوقتي؟ انت بتسمع كتير قوي عن موضوع الهاكرز والناس اللي بتخش على الكمبيوترز ويعملوا هاكينج والكلام ده كله. طيب هل التشفير ده هيساعد في العمليه دي؟ تفتكر انه يحدها شويه؟
طبعا التشفير اكيد، لان التشفير يعني يصعب الهاكرز، الا لو عندهم شيء واحد اللي هو انا ما ذكرته اللي هو الكوانتم كمبيوتر. هاي شيء كوانتم كمبيوتر يعني شيء صعب تاخذه، اللي هو يجرب يعني يحاول انه يسوي كريبت اناليسيس مليون مره في الثانيه، فيسوي احتمالات ورا احتمال ورا احتمال ورا احتمال عشان يقدر يشوف ضبط الشفره ولا لا. وطبعا يعني لو تستخدم اكثر من نوع من التشفير اللي هو يندرج تحت التشفير الغير متماثل اللي اخترعوه العرب، يعني لو تطبق اكثر من حركه كل ما يصير اصعب، كل ما يكون اطول كل ما يصير اصعب، وكل ما تسوي مكسات مثلا اللغه الانجليزيه مع العربيه مع الرموز والارقام طبعا اكيد بيخلي مهمه الهاكرز اصعب واصعب.
شكرا يا محمد، الف شكر حبيبي. I'm done with my question.
Do you have any question, Dr. Sarah, for Mohammed?
Unfortunately, my apologies, everything froze, so I had to restart. So I missed your presentation. So I don't think it would be fair to ask a question, but I have confidence in the questions that Dr. Mohammed and Dr. Fuad asked you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sarah. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Dr. Imara.
Thank you.
Let's now move to our 8th participant in the students category, Arlene Riona. Arlene, the stage is yours. Are you ready, Arlene?
Yes, I'm ready.
So your time begins now.
Do you know particles that are really small but very powerful? Particles that are used to make unbreakable glass or sprinkler shirts. They are nanoparticles. Particles that are 1 billionth of a meter. Particles that are really, really, really small. So small that a sheet of paper is just 100,000 nanometers thick. That's so small. And since these particles are really small, they exhibit unique properties. Properties that could revolutionize the way we treat cancer. Generally, we take in cancer drugs in our body to kill the tumor, but our current medical system runs into problems like the cancer drug, it never makes it to the tumor. The cancer drug gets degraded along the way, or most of the time, it ends up killing healthy cells in that process, which cause side effects. So right now, we are sending cancer drugs to fight a war with cancer without any equipment. But we can all change that if we equip them with a powerful tool, nanoparticles. Nanoparticles are like safety walls that contain precious cancer drugs. And when we take in these nanoparticles, they circulate in our body and they get enough time to find the tumor. And when it finds the tumor, just like how a key is used to unlock a vault, these cancer drugs have a special set of keys that can only open the nanoparticle. So, even if other healthy cells try to open the nanoparticle, it doesn't work. So in this manner, the healthy cells are protected from the adverse effects of the cancer drug. So when the cancer drug is connected to the key of the cancer, the tumor takes in the nanoparticle, thinking it's some food or some necessity. And when the nanoparticle is in, it opens up, releasing the drug, killing the tumor. This is all cancer drugs need to accomplish its mission. Nanoparticles. Particles that are so small, but so mighty. And this will be our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Riona. Judges, do you have any questions for Riona?
I do. Dr. Mohammed, would you like to go first? Okay, thank you very much. So nanotechnology is a really hot topic these days when it comes to developing treatments. But what are some of the negatives of nanotechnology? So yes, we can use it to target cancers, but what are the negatives associated with it?
Okay, so if you're talking about this nanoparticles, one major, let's say, defect of this is that these nanoparticles actually we are sending them to a specific location, but if they end up, going to some other location where they're not intended to, we can experience side effects. Like this nanoparticle that is used, you were saying?
Sorry, I was saying, can you give us some examples more, and what are these areas that tend to be more susceptible to nanoparticles?
Yes. So in these nanoparticles, if they're supposed to cure the drug for cancer, but instead, if they end up at our brain, they can cause side effects. So these nanoparticles are meant to go to a specific location, not all over our body. So that's one of the major problems of these nanoparticles.
But you said earlier that there are certain triggers, so only cancer cells can trigger it to be applicable. So how would it going to the brain affect if there's specific triggers for the nanoparticle?
Yes, when only the tumor has the specific key to open the nanoparticle. That's completely fine. That's fine. The drugs are concealed inside and it doesn't cause issue. But the nanoparticle itself, if it goes to other regions of the body where it's not intended to go, it could cause some mayhem or chaos or that which is really not needed. Like those parts of the body would not accept these nanoparticles. They would look at it as something like a foreign item that's there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation. Very important topic. So two questions overlapping each other. What is the most challenging aspect in treatment of cancer in general, in your?
Okay, so in terms of cancer, the basic challenge is that when we put these cancer drugs in our body, over 99% of them don't make it to the tumor. So this is where the nanoparticles come in. But even if the nanoparticles come in, it just can make the probability much more.
Let me tell you something, not to stop for the sake of time. One word can help this, which is specificity. How the drug that I'm going to treat cancer will be specific only for cancer cells and really hitting normal cells in the body. And that is the most challenging part that all people that treating cancer are using. In these terms, what do you think the main advantage of the nanoparticles will be?
Oh, yes. They don't kill other healthy cells in the process.
Excellent. So they are specific. So how they are specific here to cancer cells? Can you tell me that scientifically based?
Okay. So like these nanoparticles, we can design them in such a way that they could recognize the certain keys that are there in cancer. It might not be for all varieties. Some varieties we can design them in such a way. So when these nanoparticles go and meet these tumors will have that specific key to only open that nanoparticle.
When you say a specific key, what do you mean by specific key?
Like on the surface of the tumor cells, they have keys.
Perfect.
That would make
it's called
contact.
Specific biomarkers. Use this word. It's very, very important because this is how it recognizes those kind of tumor cells. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, judges. Thank you, Arlene. Now it's our time to welcome our ninth participant in the students category, Noura Al-Kawari. Noura, how are you feeling right now, Noura?
Good, how are you?
We're all fine. Thank you, Noura. So, Noura, the stage is yours. Your time begins now.
Imagine that you're sleeping and imagine that you wake up to start a new day of your life. You open your eyes and you find yourself next to your ceiling. You look to your left and to your right, and what you see is shocking. Your whole bedroom is flooded with water. You think to yourself, where did this water come from? Did the water pipe in the bathroom burst out last night? Or was it raining last night heavily that you were unconscious? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what is happening to our world right now because of climate change and global warming and its effect on sea level rise because of the ice sheets melting. Let's talk about climate change and how does that occur. The world has the perfect temperature to keep all living things happy and safe and alive. This temperature depends on a balance. The balance comes from the heat, the sun's heat. When the sun's heat boosts the earth to make it warmer, the balance is that the sun heat will bounce back to the atmosphere. But because of greenhouse gases, it traps the heat and acts like a blanket. It all goes back to the 1700s when we humans decided to build more things. We started burning coal to make electricity. We started chopping lots of trees. We started putting lots and lots of waste into landfills. And because of this human emissions, we started thickening and thickening the blanket in the atmosphere, causing the earth to become hotter and hotter. Now, when we humans get sick, have a fever, or get very hot, we start feeling dizzy and we get very sweaty. Now, imagine our Earth. Because of the trapped heat, glaciers of ice are melting, sea level are rising and warming, and hurricanes are becoming stronger. Now, keep your ears wide open and listen to these numbers. By 2040, the sea level is going to rise by 2 feet, and by 2050, it's going to rise by 3 feet. You would think to yourself, 2 to 3 feet is nothing, but it will transform human societies all around the world. In South Florida, residents will lose access to fresh water, which is a basic human right need. In China, India, Egypt, and other countries with major river deltas, sea level rise make them very prone to widespread and flooding and hurricanes. 2 to 3 feet of sea level rise will force evacuation of tens and millions of people and the loss of vast agricultural lands. In 100 years, the sea level is going to rise by 8 feet, which will lead big cities like New York, Shanghai, Bangkok, and Alexandria, and other countless coastal cities underwater. Now, imagine living underwater. That's not possible. Mahatma Gandhi once said, planet can provide for human need, but not for human greed. Therefore, we humans must come together to act and to change our world and live in a more sustainable world to reduce the trapped gases in the atmosphere and reduce the thickened blanket across our planet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Noura, for talking about a very, very important topic. So besides the detrimental effects of climate change, how can we as a population, as a unified world, combat climate change?
Okay, we must come together to use more. We use renewable energies. We must be more sustainable. We must make lots of smart choices. So instead of using like a plastic bottle, I would be using maybe biodegradable bottle, or like instead of using a plastic bag, I would be using biodegradable bags, so that we can reduce the effects of climate change, because there are a lot of factors that affect our climate change and actually trap the gases in the atmosphere, which causes the global warming.
How would a reduction of plastic contribute to better or less climate change? I mean, a more detrimental climate change. How does that affect it?
Yeah, because plastic takes a very long time to okay, so it takes a lot of time to biodegrade. So when we put it like in soils or stuff like that in the sea, when we pollute, it will stay there for like over 400 and 500 years. But if we use other sources like biodegradable sources, it will it can affect our society and our life. Maybe it will go in with the soil and we can start using it for better things, maybe planting more trees and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Good.
I'm good from my side. Great job, Noura. Yeah, I'm glad Dr. Fuad is back. Good.
Yeah. Noura, I was listening to you. You couldn't see me. I was listening to you though. So I wish you good luck with the competition, but you already contributed to the objectives of the program. I thank you very much, and the topic is exciting, and it's the topic of the day. Nice choice.
Thank you.
Yalla, Wad, who can we go with next?
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Noura. Now let's welcome our 10th participant in the student category, Omar Khalid. Omar, how are you feeling?
I'm fine. What about you? Hi everyone. أنا عمر خالد من مدرسة علي بن جاسم.
Are you ready, Omar?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, the stage is yours. Go ahead.
حدث خلاف بين تجار إيطاليين فقرر بعضهم الهرب نحو مدينة كافا فلاحقهم القائد المغولي جانيباغ وحاصر المدينة وبعد سنة وسنة أخرى قتل أكثر من ثلث سكان أوروبا ليس بسيفه بل بعقله. كيف؟ طال الحصار وشعر جنوده بالإحباط فقرر إلقاء جثث الموتى إلى داخل المدينة على أمل أن الرائحة الكريهة سوف تسبب في استسلام سكانها، لكن شيئا لم يحدث. عندئذ يأس وأمر جنوده بالرحيل، لكن الجثث التي تم إلقاؤها كانت تحمل مرض الطاعون الذي انتقل إلى التجار ومن بعدهم إلى أوروبا كلها. واعتبره المؤرخون أول إطلاق للأسلحة البيولوجية في التاريخ. ما هي الأسلحة البيولوجية؟ استخدام بكتيريا أو فيروسات مسببة للأمراض بهدف قتل أو إيذاء الناس. قنبلة أمريكا النووية قتلت 140,000 إنسان في هيروشيما وهو عدد لا يستهان به، لكن فيروس كورونا قتل حوالي 5 ملايين شخص ولا تزال الأعداد في تزايد، ولا يزال الغموض يحيط بنشأة هذا الفيروس. الأسلحة البيولوجية من أقوى الأسلحة الفتاكة لسهولة تصنيعها وانتشارها، فهي غير مكلفة ولا تحتاج سوى لشخص يعرف كيف يزرع البكتيريا والفيروسات ويجعلها تتكاثر، ونقلها غير ملفت للانتباه، فهي لا ترى بالعين المجردة وليس لها طعم أو رائحة، فيصعب اكتشافها إلا بعد ظهور الإصابات. لكن كيف تنتشر هذه البكتيريا والفيروسات القاتلة؟ تنتشر في الهواء بالسعال أو العطس أو الاتصال المباشر بالمريض أو عن طريق لدغات الحشرات المصابة، وتشق الفيروسات طريقها للجهاز التنفسي وتبدأ في التضاعف لتظهر الأعراض الأولية للمرض كالصداع والحمى والتقيؤ، وعندما تنتشر في كامل الجسم يبدأ الجسم بالصرع والتشنج حتى الموت. لكن على الرغم من خطورة هذه الأسلحة إلا أنه يمكننا القضاء عليها قبل فوات الأوان إذا كنا جميعا يدا واحدة وتصدينا لأخطار هذه الأسلحة البيولوجية. شكرا لكم جميعا.
شكرا عمر.
عفوا.
أنا كثير تحمست، حابب رشحك لمنظمة الصحة العالمية. سمع فيها هاي المنظمة؟
شرف لينا طبعا.
والله انه شو بدي اقول لك، يعني دكتور فاوتشي بتعرف هذا الاسم شيء؟
نعم.
بأمريكا. هذا هلا هو عم يحط كل القوانين للعالم على الكورونا. بقى انت وضحت وعملت كوميونيكيشن افضل بكثير من فاوتشي واللي وظفه حتى. بقى بدي اشكرك كثير واقول لك انا من ناحيتي انا مهندس، بس كثير يعني فهمت الموضوع وشوقتني اكثر اعرف اكثر فاكثر، خليتني كثير يعني جذبتني الى الموضوع اكثر. ولكن معنا بروفيسورز بالميكروبيولوجي ومعنا دكتور ساره كمان بالنيورو ساينس راح يسالوك اكثر بالكونتنت. تفضل
طبعا
دكتور.
يعني تشرف بالاسئله.
عمر
تفضل دكتور.
يعني انت عملت برزنتيشن رائعه بصراحه، وخلتنا نتشوق اكتر لمعرفه البيولوجيكال ويبنز. تمام، الاسلحه البيولوجيه تقدر تقسمهم لي؟ طيب عايز اعرف بقى، هل في تقسيمه ليهم ولا انت اتكلمت على، انا سمعتك عمال تتكلم على فيروسز اكتر حاجه، صح؟ واتكلمت على بعض قول لي بقى.
في فيروس، في بكتيريا، يعني
بس
في اكتر من نوع يعني
فيروس وبكتيريا بس ده اللي احنا بنتكلم عليهم؟
فاهم حضرتك تقصد تقسيمه ايه يعني؟
طب لو البكتيريا انا خايف من البكتيريا من ايه؟ ايه اللي يخوفني من البكتيريا في البيولوجيكال ويبن معين؟ ايه الحاجه الاساسيه اللي انت خايف منها في البكتيريا؟ وايه البكتيريا اللي هي ممكن فعلا تستخدم، المعروفه ان هي ممكن تستخدم كسلاح بيولوجي؟ على فكره في واحده معروفه قوي.
في بكتيريا معروفه بس تقريبا مش، بس هي في بكتيريا بتعمل فطريات، والفطريات دي بتأثر.
يعني الفطريات حاجه والبكتيريا حاجه، الفطر شيء والبكتيريا شيء، خلاص. لكن البكتيريا بتفرز حاجه اسمها ايه؟
ايه؟
سموم او توكسنز. السموم او التوكسنز دي لو دخلت جوه جسم الانسان بتؤدي الى المشاكل اللي انت اتكلمت عليها بقى، اللي هي انت قلت حاجات تريمرز، وهنعمل هنتحرك بايدينا جامد. ده مين اللي بيعمل ده كبكتيريا؟ عندك فكره؟ الاعراض اللي انت اتكلمت عليها، انت قلت اعراض في الاخر ظريفه كده، صح؟ مظبوط. اسمه الميكروب اسمه الانثراكس. وعلى فكره عشان بس اديك معلومه سريعه، كان في امريكا فتره كانوا خايفين ان هو هيقدر نوع ايام سبتمبر 11 وبعد الاحداث اللي حصلت، لقوا ان في بعض الناس بيجي لهم بعض الجوابات دي خافوا. بالظبط، شفت انت عارف اهو، اللي بيكون فيها بعض الاشياء خافوا ان هو يكون في الانثراكس، لان الانثراكس ده لو دخل جواك هيعمل الاعراض دي بالتوكسين. ده كلام جميل حلو. ده السؤال الاولاني.
تنهي الهنود. بريطانيا لما حبت تبيد الهنود الحمر كانت بتنشر فيها طاعون وفيها بكتيريا.
انت ما شاء الله انت قاري كويس في التاريخ، وده كويس جدا جدا، لان احنا بنتعلم من التاريخ. على فكره التاريخ بيعيد نفسه. يعني اللي حصل في الكورونا ده النهارده كان حصل قبل كده امتى؟
انا الموضوع ده كنت بقوله من قبل الكورونا، يعني انا عرض الموضوع ده
بس عليا بس عشان الكورونا ده، بس انا مش عايز اطول، بس عشان وقت الكومبيتيشن ما اقدرش اخد وقت طويل. لكن انت بتدرج الكورونا او الكوفيد ان هو يكون سلاح بيولوجي؟
هو لحد دلوقتي مش معروف، انا قلت لسه
ما هو كويس قوي. ده سؤالي بقى اللي انا عايز اقوله لك، ازاي تفرق؟ اسمعني يا عمر، بس اسمعني يا حبيبي عشان انت قاري كويس. ازاي تقدر تفرق ما بين الحاجه النيتشرال اللي موجوده ربنا سبحانه وتعالى خلقها وموجوده، تمام، وايه السلاح البيولوجي اللي ممكن يتخلق؟ فعلا كلامك صح، السلاح البيولوجي ده ممكن يتخلق جوه اللاب. احنا ممكن نعمل فيروسات جوه اللاب على فكره، خلاص،
بالظبط،
وباستخدام طفرات بنعملها جوه اللاب. ازاي تقدر تفرق بين الاثنين؟ هل عندك فكره؟
ازاي ايه؟
ازاي نقدر نفرق ما بين الاثنين؟ ازاي نقدر نفرق ما بين السلاح البيولوجي اللي اتعمل جوه اللاب والحاجه اللي موجوده نيتشر؟
في مثلا فيروسات نفس الجدري او الحصبه، حاجات موجوده من زمان ومعروفه، بس في حاجات بتظهر جديده. مثلا كوفيد 19 ده لسه ظاهر وعمال كان في منه انواع، بس لا ده نوع جديد مثلا، فده نشك فيه هو ايه ده بالظبط.
انت باي صف اليوم؟ انت باي صف يا عمر اليوم؟ جريد 1.
تسلم، جزاك الله خير والله.
انت باي جريد؟
which grade؟ اي صف؟
12.
خلاص
12. اوكي. حابب تكون تلميذه للدكتور محمد بجامعه قطر؟
انا ريكروتنج بيبل توداي والله.
حاليا بدرس بايوميديكال يعني.
ما شاء الله كمان.
اوكي
ان شاء الله.
انا شايف في مجال كثير لدكتور محمد يتفاعل معك وراح يعلمك شغلات كثيره.
Be more than happy والله يا عمر. Anytime my office is open for you to come and ask and learn more about it ان شاء الله. My lab as well. شكرا يا حبيبي. دكتورة سارة.
دكتورة سارة، كيف اعصابه لمحمد؟ راضي عليه؟
Yeah, Mohammed always doesn't fail to impress. Thank you, Amar. No questions from my side.
Okay. موفق يا محمد، موفق. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you, judges. Now let's move to our next participant, Dana Ashraf in the students category. How are you feeling, Dana?
I'm feeling good. How about you?
We're feeling great, thank you. So are you ready, Dana?
Yes.
So the stage is yours. Your time begins now.
What do you think is something you use the most in your life? What are you using to listen to me talk to you right now? That's right, your phone or your laptop or any other electronic device. Especially now, a pandemic, our devices, which are made from materials taken from the earth, are what allow us to effectively continue on with our lives. But this comes with a grave consequence. The mining industry has a huge role in environmental pollution. But what exactly can we do about this? Such a modern age, we can't possibly go without all of these luxuries. I mean, I would not give up my phone. How can we solve such a complicated situation? For this, I need you to think outside the box, or more specifically, outside the globe. That's right, what I'm talking about is outer space. Think about what's in space for a second. Think about the asteroids. These asteroids are made of tons of rocks, ice, and metals. Even a small asteroid like this long can contain metals with millions and billions of industrial worth. The asteroid belt is estimated to contain 700 quintillion worth of resources. That's 18 zeros. I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. We should replace mining on Earth with asteroid mining. Scientists and economists have even been looking into asteroid mining for a while now. Okay, so let's break down the most cost-friendly way this can be done. First, by using electric rockets, which is needed because rocket fuel is very expensive. After obtaining our asteroid, we stabilize it using thrusters and the moon's gravity. Then, we can use mining and processing equipment to extract all the metals. Finally, we transport it back to Earth using reusable rockets. Of course, things are a lot more complicated than what I've just briefly described. We would use orbital mechanics, centrifugation, heat-shielded capsules, but we want to know the whole picture, and this is the main idea behind it. And there you go. We've mapped out how asteroid mining should work. As our knowledge, technology, and infrastructure grows, these missions will become easier. Envision this. After that first space mission for asteroids, things will only get easier. We wouldn't have to transport fuels or parts from Earth anymore because everything can be done in space from its own resources itself. Eventually, this asteroid mining industry might allow us to fully stop mining on Earth. Not to mention, there's an abundance of water in ice-rich asteroids, so we could even collect water from space. This one seems too good to be true. It feels like it's a world of a science fiction novel, but it's not. We don't need revolutionary new techniques of science to achieve this. We should all focus on constructing this future now. Nothing is impossible. I mean, we're humans. We transformed Earth from a rock with air, water, and trees to an advanced, connected global society with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and things our ancestors could never have even dreamed of existing. So let's all work hard and hope for an amazing, sustainable future where Earth is healthy and thriving along with booming technology to match. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. يعني تعرضت لشغلات كثيرة ومن الناحية البحثية والعلمية ما راح نغوص فيها ونشوف الفيزابيلتي لأنه نحن بفيم لاب. بقى بفيم لاب بدي أتأكد إنك أنت عم تقدري توصلي المعلومة صح وتكوني كانديديت إنه تمثلي قطر بالعالم. ساعديني أعطيكي علامة عالية يا دانا. أنت الأشياء اللي اطلعتي عليها.
Dr. Fuad, can it be in English, please? She cannot speak Arabic.
Oh, you cannot speak Arabic?
Yeah.
Type, okay, let me brief again in English. So you discussed many things that are complex, and the feasibility for these topics are definitely beyond the scope of our discussion here because it's many PhD theses and topics. But I'm going to focus on one thing. This is FameLab. So this is about science communication. Can you help me and help the audience feel the difference between a kilobyte and gigabyte, between $1, a billion, a million, and a trillion? You mentioned number of zeros. People can't touch and feel zeros. Can you use another communication example that will let people appreciate numbers, because everything you said is about the feasibility will be about numbers, really, not the principle of science. Go ahead.
So in my speech, I've mentioned that this is not like a very far-reached future, because just last year, China released its first space drone to examine which asteroid they can capture. Like last year, as in September 2020, I think, they released the drone last year, and I think in late 2021 they'll come back with the results. So it's not like a huge leap in reality. It's actually happening right now. And for the numbers, see, we all know asteroids are made with precious lots of rare materials, and asteroid does 700 quintillion worth. So okay, in Earth has a lot of resources. Suppose in the ocean there's like 500 million grams of like million kgs of gold, but we can't extract it because it's too expensive for us to mine the entire ocean floor. Right? And just like that, it's also very expensive for that. The reason why asteroid mining hasn't happened yet is because of the great expense. So like if you spend like $1,000 on it on a lottery ticket and you only get back 100 riyals, that's not very productive, is it? So like but the thing with asteroid, that's why people have been researching into this, and scientists, economists have. I discussed this in my speech. See, one of the main concerns about rocket space missions to collect asteroids is the rocket fuel. They're very expensive because fossil fuels and carbon emissions and stuff, very expensive too, and also so that's why we're using electric rockets. We already use electric rockets in like normal space missions, so technically we just need to make them bigger, right? And then also orbital and then the whole transportation of the asteroid to our ease, right? That's why using orbital mechanics. I didn't expand more into my speech because it's very complicated. So use thrusters and orbital mechanics to put it into the trajectory of the moon's gravitational field. So
we definitely need more people. We definitely need more people like you who are very, very optimistic. I love the optimism that you're bringing, but I'm gonna stop there, and Dr. Muhammad and Sarah can pick it up.
I'm good, Dr. Fouad. She did, I think, good presentation, very motivated answers, and handling the questions. Keep this up, and I'm good with that. Thank you.
For me, I'm interested more on so if I understand this correctly, have they been able to, is this still theoretical, or have they been able to actually mine? Still theoretical. They have been able to mine.
So it's like the theory is done. They're trying to, first they need to locate an asteroid. The first step is locating the asteroid which is the best fit for us. And I already said China released its first space mission probe to identifying this asteroid. It was September 2020 last year. The news will be here in late 2021 or early 2022. So like it's still like a developing story, but it's very real. And the company invested like billions into it. So I'm sure it'll be successful because it sounds feasible. Our technology came so far. So yeah.
This is things that I also want you, like as young scientists, or young science communicators, to be aware of. So you're throwing in, so now, for example, you've said they haven't actually done it yet, but they've given out the message that it's, what was the word you used? Quintillion dollars worth of resources. Quintillion, that's, beyond millions and billions, quintillion. So without being to get these resources, or they haven't been able to mine yet, they've now put a price tag, a quintillion price tag on resources that can be replaceable on Earth. So just bear in mind, everyone, when it comes to, science is also about marketing, and it's also about what you can put out there. So be also wary about these kinds of information. It's a very fascinating field, but not everything that you read is factual. Keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, Dana.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Next
Dana.
one.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you, judges. Now let's move to our 12th participant. Samridi, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Just wanted to confirm. Oh, I'm feeling great. I just wanted to confirm, am I clearly audible and visible?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear her judges well?
Yes, we do.
Yes, I can.
Khalas, awesome. The stage is yours, Samridi. Your time begins now.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a deep breath together.
Yes.
Feels nice, right? But Where do you think most of this precious oxygen comes from? Surprisingly, it is not trees, but the ocean that generates up to 85% of the oxygen we breathe. A very good morning, one and all. Dolphins and whales fertilize marine plants like phytoplankton, which every year absorb 4 times the amount of CO2 than the Amazon rainforest, and thus generate most of our oxygen. According to the United Nations, in order to combat climate change, it is essential to save the oceans. However, the amount of overfishing going on and the fishing tactics that are currently employed are destroying these very oceans. In Taiji, Japan, fishermen drive dolphins into a little cove to kill them all at once, because fishermen in Taiji are overfishing. So they have to compete with the dolphins for fish. We kill 11,000 sharks every hour. Almost half of these sharks and 40% of all marine life caught is caught as bycatch. Bycatch means that while fishermen intend to catch one type of fish, they trap several other fishes in their nets unintendedly. This bycatch, after being caught, is thrown right back into the ocean. But by the time they reach the ocean, they're already dead. This means that unknowingly, just by eating fish, we're killing sharks, dolphins, and numerous marine animals unknowingly. Maybe this brutal overfishing is an even more deadly and silent killer than all these plastic straws that we keep talking about. Research predicts that in the next 30 to 40 years, we will have empty oceans. And if there's no ocean, there are no humans. We need to protect the ocean. And to do that, the easiest solution is to just leave it alone. Thank you.
Thank you. You're a very effective communicator. You definitely knew how to use your gestures and tone of voice up and down. If you were trained to do that, congratulations for the trainer and for you. You did a great job. But I want to know how much do you know about the topic you touched on, because it's very, very important as you proved it. You know, in the UN there are Sustainable Development Goals. Have you heard of the SDGs?
Yeah, 17 SDGs.
Great, 17. There is one dedicated goal for the ocean. What is it? What is the name of it and the number? What's the name of the goal and its number?
I don't recall, but it's about aquatic animals and plants.
No,
it's about aquatic animals.
It's life underwater.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
And its number?
That I don't recall.
You don't recall. I'm going to let you look it up. What about, you know, there are now in the economy, as you know, we know about recycling, the importance of the environment, and that's why we hear about green economy, right? The greening of the economy and so on, sustainability. So the topic you touched on, also there is a specialization almost for the economy. Do you know if there is a name for the economy that relates to what you discussed?
Fishing industry? I'm not really sure.
Something close to green economy. What would it be?
Sustainable fishing? I don't know.
I told you close to green, so it's the blue economy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Thank you very much. I'm gonna give some room for my colleagues on the jury. Dr. Sarah?
I echo what Dr. Fuad said. I could feel the concern in your voice, the anger. So the delivery was absolutely great. But I don't have any questions. But I'm glad you also brought this up because there has to be an awareness of what's happening to the dolphins. Thank you.
Dr. Mohammed?
I share with my colleagues the same comment. Okay, very enthusiastic, very motivated. Okay, I feel the action there. Okay, which reflecting the important topic that you're talking about. I don't think I have any questions here to ask you. Just keep up this motivation in your presentations and good luck, Samirda. Thank you.
If I can just touch on what Dr. Fuad said about the economy. So yeah, I wanted to talk about the industry aspect of it as well, but time. But basically, what I wanted to talk about was that a lot of the labels that sell these fishes and that put huge ships into the ocean, they market themselves as dolphin safe, which means that they don't have any bycatch. But in reality, that is all a hoax. And we as consumers just believe these labels and the little dolphin with a cross over it that they put on these tin cans. So so I feel instead of we should control overfishing, of course, but also what's very important is that we should hold these fishing companies accountable for what they are doing.
Thank you for the advocacy. You just are doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully you will have very serious platforms where you're able to communicate these messages. Excellent idea. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wad, next.
Thank you. Thank you, Samridi, and thank you, judges. Now let's all welcome our 13th participant, Fatma Noreen. How are you feeling, Fatma?
I'm good.
Are you excited?
Yes.
Or scared?
I'm
Okay,
excited.
glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. So Fatma, the stage is yours and your time starts now.
Good morning, everyone. Artificial intelligence is a simulation of human intelligence in machines. A simple definition of artificial intelligence is making a machine intelligent so that it can work like us human beings. Some examples of artificial intelligence are face recognition, voice recognition, and even translating from one language to another language. Also, the virtual assistants like Google, Siri, Cortana, Alexa all use artificial intelligence as well. So, how exactly can this artificial intelligence help us? Well, firstly, it can enhance the speed and effectiveness of human efforts. Secondly, it can prevent the mistakes and errors that we tend to do. For example, you've heard of the Tesla autopilot, right? Well, the artificial intelligence in the self-driving cars can prevent accidents and injuries caused on road. It can also do complex things like complex surgeries. Another thing it can do is analyze data. Now, this artificial intelligence can be used for education because it can record every single one of the data to give you a detailed record of your performance. Now, you might have also heard about robots. And what do you think is the technology behind these robots? It's artificial intelligence. Now, these robots with artificial intelligence can do 100 times more than what we humans can do. For example, they can go deep down the ocean and even outer space with no problem at all. Which is why nowadays these robots are being sent for oil exploration. But every technology has its own positive and negative impact. The same goes with artificial intelligence because it does have a few disadvantages as well. Because, it lacks a creative mind. It lacks the human touch and it needs our help to program it so that it can function and do even of the simplest of things. And we might become too dependent on these machines and our abilities may diminish. But apart from those, the world's leading companies are competing with each other to show this world about this wonderful and powerful artificial intelligence and how it can help us in the near future. And of course, we have a bright future with AI ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima. In AI, there is a huge advantage that it can predict. You heard of that, right? It can do prediction and estimation.
I've heard of AI in others, but then I did not hear about it predicting. And then I feel like I want to research about it more.
Oh, can you estimate my age?
40.
Thank you very much. You got full grade, but but I'm much older than 40, and AI is older than me. Imagine me, the dinosaur. AI is older than me. Why do you think now AI is a boom for the last 5-10 years? Let's say 10 years. So why is AI now grabbing all the attention? It has all the applications from medicine to self-driving car, to all the examples you gave. Excellent examples. Why do you think the last 10 years AI is booming? And even though it's older than my age, it's 70 years, 60 years old.
Because I feel like now there's like increase of technology. Nowadays, there is no people in this. Most of the people I know has a phone of their own, and then they use all these technologies, and we also want to reduce all the use of fossil fuels, and then so we use electric cars which have self-driving abilities and all. And also now for the past 1 year we had the COVID-19 pandemic, and then that was the time when artificial intelligence was used the most, because for medical sector, because the doctors can't go near the patient, so most of the time it's robots doing.
One last question, and I think it will help my colleagues as well. Can you simplify, because you're a student in school, can you simplify for other students who did not study the topic, what's the relationship between AI, mathematics, and algorithms? Because we're talking about AI as if it's a box we buy from Target, from
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for bearing with us. Before announcing the winners, can I ask our judge, Dr. Fuad, without revealing any names, can you share with us, as a judge, how tricky it was to choose the winners today?
Honestly, it was tricky. We had deliberations about many names that were and are qualified to win and go on and represent Qatar and FameLab. And we wanted to encourage everybody. It was difficult, but the rules are rules and we have to do it. Honestly, I want to say that I know that it's Corona that deprived us from being in person. But with FameLab, I really wish we had the chance to see this performance in front of us, to feel the energy from you guys. You've prepared so much, you have given so much to the topic, and I wanted to feel that energy in person. And unfortunately, the ICT tools that we're using in Corona age don't pass on that passion. Maybe we should invent something for the future that will transfer this passion as well. I wish I were there in person. Hopefully next year we will have in-person session much better than that. Otherwise, congratulations everybody. I learned a lot. I learned on the people skills, science communication, and I learned content. Thanks to everyone.
Now, the moment that we all have been waiting for has arrived. It is the time to announce the winners. Is everyone worried yet? Is everyone excited? So, and now we're going to start with the students category. The third place of the student category goes to okay, goes to Zainab from the Next Generation School. Congratulations, Zainab.
Thank you.
Khalas, we're done with the positions. I should leave, right? Okay, and now we'll go to the second winner of the students category. Congratulations to, what was the name again? To Justin Pacer from the Philippine International School. Congratulations, Justin.
Thank you so much.
Now, the position that everyone is excited for. The first position in the students category. And we should say congratulations to. Judges, do you know the name? I forgot it. Do you know it? Should you say it, guys? Khalid Fahad from Qatar Technology Secondary School for Boys. Congratulations, Khalid Fahad. Amazing job.
Thank you very much.
Khalid, can you please turn on your camera, please?
Thank you very much.
Such an amazing job, Khalid. You deserve to be here.
Thank you.
Khalid,
You deserve it, Khalid. You deserve it. برافو عليك.
خليك بهالحماس وبهالقناعة، بس عشرت نستوعب ونتعلم ونرجع ندافع، مش بطريقة عمياء. بس congratulations, you are an excellent communicator and an advocate for science. برافو.
برافو عليك. برافو. برافو.
خالد وين صورتك؟
شوفك in Stars of Science.
طلع لنا صورتك.
إن شاء الله. لا ظاهر.
Okay.
الله شكرا.
So I would like to say that all the students and all the participants were indeed amazing, and everyone did an amazing job, and we could sense your passion and your passion for science and knowledge, and we can sense how developed you are, and I bet you're going to be great science communicators and scientists, inshallah, in the soon future. So now, should we go to the adults category and mention our national winners for 2021 and the runner-up? Should we? I can't hear your voices, guys. Are you excited for this? Okay, now it's the moment we all have been waiting for. It's time to announce the winners for the adults category. And we will start by mentioning the name of the runner-up for Qatar National FameLab 2021. And the runner-up name is... Do you know it, guys? I forgot the name. I don't remember. Where was he from? You remember the organization?
Okay.
From Texas A&M, Mohammed Omara Jamil, runner-up for National FameLab 2021. Congratulations, Mohammed.
Thank you so much.
And now it's the time to announce the winner of FameLab 2021. And the winner is Fatima Umar. Congratulations, Fatima. You are the National FameLab winner of 2021. What are your feelings, Fatima?
I was so not expecting this. Oh my God, it's amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my God. I'm so grateful for like this chance.
You are our ambassador in the FameLab. You are our ambassador in the science sphere. Please keep on teaching, keep on learning, keep on advocating and affecting other people's lives. We want a lot more of Fatimas around us in the whole world. Good luck.
Thank you.
As we know that everyone did an amazing job, everyone here is a winner indeed. The amount of knowledge and the amount of training that you went through cannot ever be forgotten. So you are winners by reaching this far in FameLab. And guess what? Your journey has just started. It hasn't ended. Your journey just has started, and great things are waiting for you in the soon future. Well, as we know, all good things has to come to an end. It's a brilliant competition. Thanks to everyone who took part in this and make it happen. The British Council as the international partner, QNRF, our strategic partners, and the full support we got from Ministry of Education, Cheltenham Festival for creating such a wonderful product, to all our participants who made today possible, to all the audience watching us for the last 2 hours or 3 hours, we can say. Thank you and see you next year. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you, judges. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Congratulations to the winner and everyone who participated today. Thank you, judges, for your support, for choosing the winners. And thank you, everyone, for everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
For everything. والله thanks. شكرا حقكم كلكم.